Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Hello?
Yo,
Hey, how are you?
what's the drizzle?
The drizzle is partly cloudy.
Oh, my bad. I was using some African American vernacular.
I was befuddled.
I could tell. So you was out in the world giving Tom Cruise some money. Is that what you was doing with your day to day, brother?
I had to give him some money, a
I
lot
don't
of
blame
money.
you. I don't blame you. I'm pretty sure I gave him some money too, inadvertently, because I watched the old Top Gun on Netflix. Just to make sure I'm beefed up for the new one. I had to, refamiliarize myself and with the, all the good shit that came with Top Gun. Top Gun was awesome. That was one of the first um, movies that I identified in my young psyche as white folk movies that I enjoyed when I was young. So I got a special place in my heart for Top Gun, bro. White folk movies. It's my first white folk movie.
Nice, nice.
Shit's classic, bro. I was upset when Duck died, bro. A goose. I said duck.
Goose, duck. You're in the
Same
same. Yeah, you're close. You're close enough.
Same shit. Yeah, I was pretty upset. I did not like that at all. But I heard, what did we got? Duck's lineage. We got Duck's son in the new movie or something like that.
His name is Rooster,
Oh, Root
and
Goose's son.
Goose's son's name is Rooster, and he's got a bone to pick
Oh,
with
shit.
Maverick.
Really?
Oh yeah, oh
Wow.
yeah.
See,
I
that's what I
mean,
was wondering. Was Maverick like a deadbeat uncle or something? Like, has he not seen Goose's kid since the end of Top Gun 1? Was he there taking him out on the weekends to play tennis or something? Like, what's the relationship with these guys?
it would seem if he was your bestest friend and you held his dead body as the life left him, that you'd maybe take care of his son. That you'd maybe even feel a little responsible for orphaning this poor boy. You contributed. You contributed to him being an orphan.
Little bit, not too much. It was a mechanical malfunction that killed his father, but you were out here doing some reckless shit. So I feel like it could have been at least partly his fault.
Pay for his piano lessons. Teach him
Something,
to ride a bike. At least send a card. He should know who you are.
right?
Yeah. So no. It would seem that there's just been a huge gap in time where he is pretty much not changed at all and had any correspondence with this young man, except for he keeps him from becoming a pilot. He sets him back 4 years. Refuses to let him fly.
So you only show up in son's life to hate?
Yeah.
That's your only role as an uncle who may or may not be partially responsible for the
Were
death
we
of this kid's father, and all you did was come here to hate?
were we supposed to say spoiler alert? We're spoiling. I'm gonna spoil the whole movie.
Okay,
If you
well,
brought it up, I'll just tell you you're not gonna want to see it either. I mean, how much do you want to know?
okay, retroactive spoiler alert for Top Gun. I mean, that's not even really a spoiler. I'm pretty sure everybody knew
But you
that
seriously were
some
gonna
kind
go
of
see it
bird.
though?
Who,
I don't
me?
want to ruin it for you.
No, I don't. My
Yeah.
daughter's gonna see it, and she's gonna tell me
Okay.
everything about it. I'm not gonna watch it. If I
I
do
thought
watch it, I'll watch. I'll halfway watch it while I'm smoking a spliff on the couch at midnight. So I'm not really gonna be focused. So
I thought you were feigning interest because you were a little too excited about white men playing volleyball. I just didn't buy it. You didn't make me believe
just
it.
to be clear, I didn't
You didn't
verify
make me
what
believe
part
it.
of the movie I enjoy the most.
Well, that was my favorite part.
Well, of course. I mean, that's a given. But
They were really good at volleyball, and those were some
shirtless
really short
volleyball.
shorts in the '80s.
yeah, dude. Yeah, that
Very
shit
fit, man.
It was a bomb movie.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I ain't gonna front. That was around. I saw Top Gun. I saw Tombstone. So I was like in my whole kick of watching these white folk movies. I was like, this ain't bad actually. I can watch things other than like Juice and Boys in the Hood. That's not all I can watch. I can definitely watch Top Gun. That shit's hilarious. Dude, did you know the term, you know where the term maverick comes from?
I don't know what the origin is. No.
The origin of the word maverick, which now is meaning like an independent or non-conforming person, it actually came from the word that people used back in the late 1800s or mid 1800s for an unbranded calf. An unbranded cattle, because there was a Texas rancher named Samuel Maverick who was notorious for not branding his cattle, and they would get out and be all over the place. So when somebody saw unbranded cattle, they assumed that it belonged to Samuel Maverick.
Hmm.
So if you off your plantation with no discernible markings, we can't tell who you're from or where you're from or who you belong to, that's a Maverick.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. He probably chose that name.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
People are predictable. If somehow you're not branded by the culture and you go in the opposite direction, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You're rebellious. You're
Fucking
You're
Maverick.
non-conforming. Yeah. And it's and the origin story is property rights.
Right. You fucking unbranded.
And not
prick.
just maybe I paint a little speckle. Nah, the paint could wash off. I'm gonna take some fucking searing hot iron and
Right.
burn the shit out of this fucking cow.
It's the best way I could think to prove
Mark
my
it.
ownership. I need to burn
Yeah.
you and cause you extreme pain and trauma, so
I
I can
mean,
show how much I care about you.
Didn't they
belonging to
have
me.
didn't they have a lot of time to do nothing though? Like
lot.
nobody could have just knitted an armband. Like there was no women crocheting. Like, hey, I'm gonna crochet for our cows. Give them like little helmets or armbands or something, little thug bandanas.
No,
It
that
seems
would
like there'd be some other way to mark them.
No, not when men are in charge. Just burn this motherfucker. Just fucking burn him, bro. I ain't got time
So-
to be knitting sweaters for cows, bro. Burn this bitch. It's fucked up. That's patriarchy for you, right?
That's tough, man.
Rough shit. But overall, did you dig it? Was it a good flick?
Dude, I don't care. I'm the wrong person to ask about any of this.
No.
Listen. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I participate with humanity, but I'm just going through the motions, man. I'm not paying attention. I could care less, dude. I'm the absolute wrong person to ask about this movie.
Sounding a little Dr. Manhattan-y there. Is the infection spreading? Is that what this is? Are we all just turning into Dr. Manhattan slowly?
You know what it is I don't want to ruin people's happiness. Like I like to see people smiling and laughing and enjoying, and if my default setting is I think all the shit people enjoy is fucking stupid, it's impolite. It's impolite to speak up. Like I don't want to let my hatred for everything ruin other people's happiness. I guess that's where I'm at.
Well, that's very insightful and mindful of you, I must say, because a lot of people would just go piss on everybody's parade. So I got to say that's kind of respectable to just be like, you know what, I don't want to be involved. I like that. That's dope. That's actually a lot better to just completely detach rather than trying to drag everything down like a nihilist. See, that's post-nihilism that you're talking about. You've actually evolved through your nihilism and come to a better place. A nihilist would be like, you know what? Birthday parties don't mean anything, so I'm going to go flip this kid's cake over. Fuck it. That's what they do.
Start whipping the petting zoo they set up. Start whipping the animals, branding them.
Yeah, none of this shit matters anyway.
Birthdays aren't real. Yeah. Beat up the party clown.
Oh
And
yeah, I'm down with that.
just go out of your way to fuck it up for everybody.
Yeah, that I'm down with. Beating. I've actually fought a clown in my life.
Stop
So,
it.
nah, I'm dead serious. I'm not even gonna front. I
Wait,
was
hold
at
on, but I gotta clarify. Does this person's they have a job title that they are in fact a clown,
yes, yeah, a
but
literal clown.
got in a fight off duty, or was it in
Oh
full
no,
clown
he was
regalia?
dressed like a clown. He was on the clock clowning, and I had to put hands on this motherfucker. Son. I'm sorry, but sorry, not sorry. It happened. I was at a festival, like a county fair kind of vibe, at King College, and this was back in my Jersey days. My grandmother took me, a bunch of my friends. They got all the cotton candy, the fucking rides and everything, and there was a clown there. And at this time, like I think I'm better now. I don't have a current fear of clowns, but I definitely don't like them. Like I could watch a movie with clowns in it. I can watch it, all that kind of shit. But back in the day, it was like I would kind of get anxiety and kind of freeze up a little bit. I don't dig clowns like that. So we're walking around the fair, and there's a clown, and he's out playing. The people who are walking past him, he's screwing with people and shit. And when we got to walk past him, I moved to the outside of the group that I was with to be farthest away from the clown. And I guess that triggered him or something, bro. So he just started fucking with us. And I was like, yo, I don't like clowns, bro. And I was like, don't play with me. And he started doing this weird ass clown walk. Like he looked right at me and he's like, everybody likes clowns. And he was wiggling and doing some dumb shit. And he ran up on me. And I'm sorry. It wasn't like I didn't beat him down. I didn't ground and pound him or nothing like that. But I let him fly. I gave him a couple. You know what I'm saying? And then we got in trouble. We didn't get fully kicked out of the thing, but we did get pulled to the side and like reprimanded and shit like that. And then we just didn't go near where he was anymore. But I stand by the fact that he didn't have to double down. Like when a person goes out of their way to move away from you and vocalize, I don't like clowns, that's your cue to pick a different person to fuck with. You don't start doing some weird some Monty Python walk. Nah, don't do that, babe.
That's clown arrogance.
That's exactly what that is. He was clown arrogant, and he got some hands put on him, son. But yeah, you don't do that to people. That was super insensitive. You don't do that.
You know how many books have been written about clown hubris? Do you have any idea?
Not enough, clearly.
It's how they're known throughout the ages. Fucking to be arrogant bastards.
Yeah,
the imagery of just like a clown like dancing in a totally opposite direction, but just has his head as an angle and just looking directly at you.
Yeah, right.
As he does this goofy walk.
Goofy walk with the legs moving and he was wiggling. Everybody likes clown. Oh, okay.
Right. He saw you as a challenge. He's like, I'm gonna bring this young man some joy.
Yep, challenge
I'm
accepted.
gonna turn him around. He's not happy with clowns. I'm gonna change his perspective.
Nah, son, we can't do that. So and like I said, I wasn't proud of it. I wasn't happy. We didn't celebrate the fact that I beat him. But at the same time, I still to this day, I feel like he deserved it. I don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't walk up to him. I didn't spot him in the crowd and say, there's a clown. I got to go fuck him up. I tried everything to stay away from him. I said it. I don't like clowns, bro. Don't just chill. And he decided to just close the gap and make it personal. So you get what you get. You get what you fucking deserve, right? In the words of the Joker, you get what you fucking deserve. Don't be playing with people, especially inner city black children. Like, don't do that. If it's a soccer mom and she don't like clowns, maybe you get to fuck with her a little extra. Because maybe, I don't know, maybe her etiquette and everything will stop her from slapping you across the face. But don't do that to a teenage boy from Newark. Not a good idea, pal. Not a good idea.
It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea, but a hilarious story. And you know what though? I think that's by far like that's the most righteous order of operations you can extend before violence comes into the equation. I stood as far away from you as possible. Right. I vocalized that I did not want to engage.
Right. I took the gamble of making myself the butt of all of my friends' jokes. Right? Because we could have just walked away, and then my 3 or 4 friends could have laughed at me for the rest of the day for being scared of that clown. And then it would have been ball in my court. I would have had to deal with that. But because you decided to escalate the situation, you got slapped around, and then he became the joke. So, I mean, hey, look, He needed that. Obviously, he needed that altercation. You don't treat people like that. I mean, it's not like I was at Halloween Horror Nights or some shit where people are paid to fuck with you and chase you around. This was just a regular broad daylight, fair. We came here for cotton candy and roller coasters. I didn't come here to be accosted by a clown. What the fuck is the matter with you, bro? But anyway, he got what he got. I'm not proud of it, but I also don't think I did anything wrong.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that clown arrogance gets entered into like whatever psychology encyclopedia, like as a real condition. I want it to be a term that people reference. Sir, you suffer from clown arrogance.
But I'm not even a clown.
This is a classic case.
Classic case.
Are you familiar with the historical hubris of clowns? Are you aware? Let me get the book. Yeah.
Have you ever heard the story of Clappy at Keene College back in the 90s? Fuck that guy, bro. I hope he learned a powerful lesson that day. I hope he quit clowning after that. I hope he completely retired from clowning. It was like, you know what? I ain't doing this shit no more. I hope he accepts responsibilities for his wrongdoings. What if I had like like I could have just passed out and had a seizure or some shit like that? There's people in the world who are so scared.
From being in New York, from Newark, you lucky you didn't pull out a gun on him.
Right. I could have totally been strapped. But I mean, it's like there's people who fear shit so much that it's not like, ooh, it scares me. There's people who will just pass out, fall on the ground, hit their head or some shit like that because they just completely lose control of the thing that they're scared of. And I know you have to know that not everybody is happy to see a clown. This is a well-established, that's like arachnophobia. This is a well-established, we might not know the name of it. I'm about to look it up right now. But this is an established thing. People be scared of clowns.
No, there's a name for it. My mother has the same thing when it comes to snakes. She can't even look at pictures. Like she hates them so bad.
Yeah, my mom's like that too. My stepdad won't even say the word snake. It's called coulrophobia. Coulrophobia.
I used to have to because my stepfather was scared of him too because he was like a bitch. But I would have to get the machete and chop their heads off and throw it across the neighbor's backyard.
Just to clarify, when you say he was a bitch, because he was scared of clowns, or were there other things involved in this equation?
Other things involved in the equation.
Okay, I was just checking because I noticed you didn't shame your mother for being scared of clowns, but the guy got shamed for me. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, coulrophobia. The fear of clowns, children and adults, everybody. It's nah, man. We can't be treating people like that, bro. You got to do better.
Yeah, and there's things too, man. It's something that is hardwired into you. It's not. If you don't have it, it's hard for people to empathize with it. But yeah, there's certain things for whatever reason, it triggers them and they're gone, man. They're terrified. They can't think clearly.
Yeah, it's better now, because I've watched the It movies. When I was young, I could barely watch that It movie. But I was probably 13, 14, 15 years old, old enough to not really be scared. But I tried to watch that movie on TV, in my room. I had to open the door, keep the lights on and shit. And it was real, bro. The physical anxiety was absolutely real. I don't have that now because I feel like I'll fuck a clown up, even worse.
As you should.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't really have the fear anymore. It seems pretty irrational, but I'm not I'm not super accepting of it either. So I will avoid it if I have to. Clowns are not my favorite thing.
Nah, but when people have a revulsion towards bugs, somewhere in our genetic ancestry, I'm sure people died of diseases by being in close proximity, or certain creatures carry poison, whatever. I have this hardwired now into my DNA that it's going to shoot this response. Oh shit, this is dangerous, even if it's not. I don't know. The thing with the clowns, that could probably, maybe that's some shit when people used to, the psychology of war, when people used to go and fight, the samurai and shit would have masks. The whole point is to strike terror in people.
Yeah.
That there's probably something in us where we see some shit it's not supposed to be like that, and it triggers. I don't know. I have no scientific knowledge or background, but this is what I'm thinking. This is where the terror comes from.
Clown arrogance.
No, but we all have that. People that freak out about spiders. You're way bigger than a spider. You could fucking
crush a spider.
I think
But
I read somewhere, I don't remember where I seen it, but it's something to do with like in our past when we were like not basic human beings, but like when like apparently like there's bigger creatures than us, like animals, insects, or whatever, and like that fear is still like deep in our DNA because of what we used to have to endure.
And that's what I'm saying. So when people feel that, people try to make it a rational thing. It's like, nah, it's not rational. Your body is shooting chemicals and telling you like, oh shit. Even though in your conscious mind you're like, this is not some shit I need to worry about. Everything about our instincts are like, yo, there's danger here. So that's what I'm saying is like it. You're right. It seems trivial, but it is kind of insensitive. Like, yo, what if I were to pass out and you're over there crip walking and looking me dead in the eyes,
Right?
Like with
he
with
deserved
your
everything
clown.
coming to him.
Yeah, your clown provocatoring.
You gave the warning.
I did, bro. 2 warnings because when he first saw us, I saw him kind of focus on us. So I moved to the outside of the crowd. I was like 5 of us, and I moved to the outside of the crowd, and I just started looking at the ground, kind of like I don't want to fuck with this guy. And he spotted me, and he just started moving around and shit. And I told him, bro, but he didn't listen.
It's in their clown school, bro. They have to be extra arrogant.
It is. It definitely.
Telling
That's
you.
definitely part of clown
This
school.
is when you see someone who's expressing some sort of disdain, just turn your nose
Double
up,
down.
do the goofy walk, and lock eyes.
Don't stop.
Make sure that's the most important part. Make sure you have eye contact. Be extra aggressive.
Bro, the way he was walking looked like some shit Turbo did in Breaking. It was the weirdest fucking shit, and I was like, "No, this is it. This is where it goes down."
But to be fair, there's degrees of it. Everybody has different boundaries. Because I think some people, as soon as he looked and danced, some people would have ran across the room. They're like, "Nah, fuck that. You know, how dare you? You're clown provocatoring from over there. I can tell. You know, your boundary was, look, you don't approach me again. You can't approach me again. I let you do your turbo walk and lock eyes with me. We're good, but you approached again." You know what I'm saying? And there's other people wouldn't even have given the warning.
Right.
Your boundary would have been like, "Up, you fucked up, clown." That's it. It's so you just never know. You never know. But I think that it's always as long as the warning shot is given, I feel like that's always fair. It's always fair. After that, you do kind of ask for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Well, while we're on the topic, so as I was looking up the name of clown fear, I found some of the most rare and weird phobias that you've likely never heard of. One of them is nomophobia, fear of being without your cell phone. Arithmophobia, fear of numbers. Plutophobia, fear of money. Xanthophobia, fear of the color yellow. And ablutophobia, fear of bathing. These are like legitimate, probably like, searchable, researchable fears that people have. Motherfuckers have fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Who the fuck is afraid of bathing if you're not a fucking dog? What the hell is going on with
And
that?
most kids under 7, most children under 7, they just carry it with them into adulthood. Bro, I used to do everything I could to avoid taking a bath. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like the authority structure. Like they just tell you it's time to take a bath, so you rebel against that. But I used to go in the bathroom and run my bath water and then just like splash my hand in the tub to make my grandmother think I was actually taking a bath. I just make splashing noises and shit and then just walk out of the bathroom. And then I realized she would go back in there and check to see if the tub was dirty. She's like, "Yo, get your ass back in there, bro. What the fuck are you doing?" So I get it. I was a little bit older than 7, but still. Ablutophobia, bro. That's a legit shit. Fear of the color yellow. That's got to be a rough one. You can't even go outside. You
can't even drive in front of a light.
You can't do nothing, yo. Fear of the color yellow. I feel like the color yellow could jump out on your ass at any given moment. Somebody's car, somebody's clothing, a building, like
Ethernet cable.
That's it's mad yellow. That starts to make you think about all the yellow shit just waiting for you to jump on your ass unsuspectingly. That's bad.
Yeah,
news.
that with red is probably the most popular colors for advertising.
Yeah. So
It's
no
got to pop out
McDonald's.
and get your attention. Nope.
No McDonald's. Oh shit.
Yellow's
Imagine
in
if you got
everything.
coulrophobia and xanthophobia. Fear of clowns and fear of yellow. You'd die at McDonald's, bro. You just have a fucking heart attack.
Stand back and don't make a balloon animal out of a yellow balloon, bitch. Please.
Nah, yeah,
Oh,
please. I can't
shit.
take it. That's some wild shit.
Oh, you.
Just go to McDonald's and have a straight up anxiety attack.
Look, if anything, those phobias may have arisen because McDonald's exists.
Wow. That's another way to look at it. That's true. Because, yeah, McDonald's is dangerous, bro. They be out here catching bodies. They be catching a whole, allegedly. Allegedly. I don't know if McDonald's ever actually directly killed anyone on purpose, but allegedly they kill a lot of people every year, so.
It's on purpose at this point.
Well, I don't know, man. It's like I kind of look at McDonald's like the heart attack grill. Like, if you go into McDonald's like that, like, it's one thing to be like, you know, okay, my kids want some chicken nuggets or something. It's a little bit bad parenting at this point. But if you go into McDonald's, it's just like, fuck it, have a burger. But if that's...
You're not going for a quality burger, bro.
Oh, no, yeah. You're going for one of the worst things you can possibly eat. Period. There's no guessing involved anymore. It's
That's
not
what I'm
a...
saying.
it's not a conspiracy theory. You know what's in there. It's straight. It's
I'll
meth.
give you the excuse, like, your kids and like you're busy and it's like, fuck, I'll go to the drive-thru, get a couple stuff for the kids. But as an adult, you should like really like avoid it.
That's
Yeah, but
even worse.
ain't that the conundrum of like everything in American culture or just global culture going, in a technological direction? We'll trade in for convenience over quality of life. Like, this makes things way faster, and this is really, really convenient. But yeah, in the long term, it's terrible for you. Like, I don't have to read books. I can get information at the touch of a button. Yeah, but you're probably all getting brain cancer from the waves going through everybody. Yeah, but I can get information faster. So it's like convenience for like bad quality of life. Like, that McDonald's encapsulates that.
Yeah, that's most of the shit we deal with here. And once you get a taste of the convenience, it's really difficult to put it away. Like, can you imagine, how long we live without remote controls for the TV? A long time. But now it just seems fucking absurd. Like, if you can't find your remote now, you just don't change the TV. Matter of fact, I would go even further as to say, the way the TVs are built now, it's built for you to only use the remote. With the tiny little buttons, if you press them too many times, they get broken and they jam into the TV. Like,
Those shits are so
they're not made to push
useless.
buttons.
Those shit is so useless when you don't have a remote. They don't
it's
fucking
nothing you
work.
can do.
The button, the hard press down and everything is fucking annoying.
Yeah, so if you don't have your remote now, you just ass out of luck. That's probably why Netflix autoplay shit.
And if you got a Fire Stick, bro,
with
they
the smartphones,
they design you to fucking buy a remote.
Nah, but with the smartphones, there's apps that'll emulate the remote.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying. Like, the TVs are not even designed for you to push the buttons on the TVs anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They used to have knobs and shit, like a straight up knob, like that was on the stove. You click that shit and turn to the channels. Now it's like they could even simulate the knob. It don't even have to really click no more. But they're like, nope, I'm gonna put a little tiny button. You got 7 times to press it, and then it recesses into the TV, so you're fucked.
But you know what? Would you rather pay $150 extra for the TV so that you could have sturdy, reliable buttons on it that you're never gonna fucking use?
That's what it's gonna cost too.
I would.
Nah, man, the market always gets what it wants. People don't want to do shit. Look, if you're watching TV, you've already kind of decided that you don't want to do shit. Like, I just want to passively be given information. I just want to sit here and not do shit. So no, if extra work can't be a part of that equation.
It's so bad now. Like, there's no point of cable TV these days because, like, you can just stream or watch whatever you choose to watch.
Yeah, cable's fucked.
Like, there's no point of it. They just throw it at you when you go. I'm like, I just want internet. Well, we're gonna give this for free. No, listen. I want internet. I don't need anything else. But we'll give you 10 months free plus $9 cheaper. Look. I just want the internet. Like, they force it down your throat.
But didn't TV get good for a little bit? Because I remember I used to not watch shit, and you were like, yo, dude, you got to watch Breaking Bad. Like, you got me into watching it. I never even watched TV.
That's like when I was like dying, slowly stopped watching TV. Now, like, anything that I find interesting, like, I find the app and I just like stream it.
Yeah.
But like I haven't like sat down and watched TV. Commercials, it's because of commercials. Commercials has killed TV, really, to be honest with you. It's a needed evil in a sense, but it's just so fucking annoying.
It's one of those things where if my wife wants to watch something, I'll watch it with her. But like very rarely do I actually go and watch something for entertainment value. I've kind of taken my the way that I am with getting information like with books. Like when I read, I don't like to read any stories. I don't like to read for entertainment. Like just give me the information. What's true, what's not, just give me the information. And I've kind of turned TV into that. Like I don't want to be entertained anymore by television. It's solely a medium for research at this point. Like
It
I've
brings
given up.
emotions that you don't fucking want either, because like you're watching this show.
It's all trauma, dude. My wife is watching this movie of like it was like Keith or Sutherland. I think it was in the '90s, and Sally Field. And like in the movies, there's just brutal rape and murder, just brutal scenes. Like the whole, like you see it, the woman getting thrown on the glass table, and it's like this is human beings aren't supposed to see this. Like I'm just super sensitive to it now. Like so this is like I'm just conscious of the fact. I don't know. Like I'm putting some violent imagery into my mind. You know what I mean? Like there's something I don't know. Like I don't like going through that experience for entertainment.
Oh, we're definitely desensitized. We're definitely like the FCC tried to hide it from us, but it's. I think we're far past it at this point.
Yes, and it's normal. Like that's you're branded. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're branded. Like can you see violent images and feel nothing? Absolutely.
That's
Cool,
why people
you're one
pull
of
out.
us.
They pull out their cell phones when they see like something crazy happening. Like that shouldn't be your first reaction. It's pulling out your cell phone.
Right, but look, what was the first thing that the internet was giving us? When people started sharing shit on the internet, like some of the first shit to pop up was like, yo, here's some video of somebody getting beheaded. Like, here's a.
I used to watch that shit and then like turn away.
Oh, dude, I can't do it.
As soon as I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, man.
I'm done. I'm done.
That's too much. That's too much. Like I don't even like watching fight videos no more. Honestly, I used to watch a lot of those because it was almost like studying combat to see where this guy went wrong. Like, oh, he could have dodged that, or you should have saw that coming, type shit. But I don't even watch fight videos no more. Like it's horrible. At this point,
Yeah.
people seem to enjoy it so much, it just becomes disgusting. A disgusting example of where humanity is.
Yeah,
And a
I've been
bunch of
watching.
women-
I've been watching shootout episodes. I mean, not episodes, but shootout videos.
Episodes.
Not
Shootout season 1.
It's bad when you're watching that shit. And it's just like, oh shit, like that body's gone, like he's gone, and you're just watching it over and over. It's bad.
Now, when I started seeing women beating the shit out of each other and dudes stopping people from breaking up the fights, that's when I was like, all right, I'm good. I think I've seen enough. Like, you expect dudes to be like, all right, everybody, all right, come on. But they're like, nah, let them bitches rumble. I'm like, okay.
They're
I'm
still
good.
gonna fight. I was that type of dude too, where like I'll stop the fight and then you end up getting hit. I'm like, you know what? Go ahead and finish it off.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Fuck it. But hey, I can't watch that shit no more. World Star, all of that. World Star hip hop created a legacy of fuck.
I was never into the World Star. Like that was never really my thing. I never was like really sat down and watched all those videos on World Star.
Yeah, I did for a while. I remember when it was still new and everything, and that's really all they had was people getting beat up and maybe some rap videos every now and then. And it was just so fascinating because we weren't seeing it. There was nowhere else. That was one of the first places I knew that compiled that kind of shit. It would just be all kinds of hood fights and people getting stomped out and shit like that. And then you're like, yo, what the fuck is going on in the world? How is this so common? And people just, you open the window, no matter what you're looking for. Best case scenario is that people are recording it in their everyday lives and they just send it in because there's an avenue for it. Worst case scenario is they start to create the problem and influence it just because they know people want to see it, like bum fights.
Yeah, those are the people that I have a problem with it. It's one thing where like you see some crazy shit and it's like, oh, I gotta record this so everybody can see it. But it's another thing when you're setting it up.
Yeah, like bum fights, dude. That dude was going out in the street, finding, I think it was mostly in California too, and just finding homeless people and drug addicts and shit. And it's like, yo, I'll give y'all $20 if y'all fuck each other up.
Yeah, there's this kid, he was like, I think he was a comedian, trying to be a comedian, but basically clout chasing. And he was going out to LA and like tagging like neighborhoods and talking shit about them. Like, fuck this neighborhood, fuck that neighborhood. To a point they caught him slipping and they killed him.
Psychos, bro.
Yeah.
Psychos. You fucking around with some sociopath, possibly psychopath people. Anybody that'll decide to kill you because of what color you're wearing, these are not stable motherfuckers.
Oh
Period.
yeah.
No matter how you slice it, these are not stable people. So if you out there fucking around with them, I mean, you must have a death wish. That was just the long con on committing suicide.
That's what everybody said about him. They're like, that was like the craziest shit you could ever do if you're gonna go to LA. The craziest shit you could ever do.
And don't get me wrong, I in real life have seen a fight over somebody, what they call whacking somebody's tag. You know, getting your shit crossed out and somebody tag over your. So I've definitely seen a fight over that in my life, but nobody died over it. Nobody got murdered.
Man, I used to be so afraid because like in my younger years, I was a homebody. Like my mother kept me in the house, so everything I had to learn about the world was through like cable TV. I used to be so afraid of like stepping on people's shoes. Like when I finally went to the club, I'll be like, I'm sorry, because I'm thinking like something like the craziest shit's gonna happen to me, because that's all you always hear or you see on TV. Like, oh, he died because he stepped on his fucking Jordans. So like I used to have like big anxiety like for a while when I would go to the club and like accidentally bump into somebody.
Fuck that, bro. I ain't with it. The worst clubs, the worst shit I ever saw. Well, not the worst thing, but just the atmosphere when I realized how real that shit was when I came to Florida. The clubs that I went to, and plus I was a lot younger, but the clubs I went to when I was in New Jersey, everybody was focused on dancing or smoking weed in a corner. It was a real, like a kind of a happy-go-lucky environment. It was all about the dancing and the chicks and smoking weed. But when I came to Florida, that's when the first time I came to a club and you just see like 100 gangsters just standing around staring at everybody. I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Why are y'all even here? Like, you basically just waiting for a fight to start.
That's why I like reggae clubs. Like I've never really like went into like, I've been to hip hop clubs, but like it was never really my thing. Because every time I went into one, there's always like fucking like a what do you call somebody being sprayed, like pepper sprayed every time. Like the very few times, every time. Like I've never had that experience like with a reggae club. Like it's always been like everybody's here to dance, hang out, chase pussy, get drunk, and go home.
Right, yeah, reggae clubs are dope. I used to go to one when I was it was in Pembroke Pines. That's the first place I moved to Florida, was in Pembroke Pines, and we used to go to this reggae club all the time, and it was the chillest shit ever. Everybody still looked dangerous, but they wasn't really doing nothing. They was just, like you said, smoking weed, dancing, playing dope music. Everybody was vibed out, but it definitely looked like a place you could get stabbed if you do the wrong shit. For sure. For sure, I ain't gonna front. You can definitely get stabbed.
I ain't gonna lie about that. Yeah, definitely. I think the worst case scenario I've ever been to, I went out to Lakeland, and they said it was like a horrible club, but like I had a cool experience. And then like I was supposed to go again, and I didn't go. And then like that time that I missed, the dude came out, like shot somebody, and he was supposed to like, he went out to the car, apparently he was supposed to get the AK and spray the place down, but his friends like talked to him to leave or whatever. But I think around that time too, I stopped going after that.
Oh, that's a good reason to stop going. That's definitely a good reason to stop going. Motherfuckers leaving over arguments or whatever to go get.
Yeah, it was a petty argument too. Like he wanted to get on the mic and they took the mic away from him. Like
that's it. Everybody
stupid
dies.
As fuck. Yeah, everybody has to die.
Everybody dies. Either I get on the mic or everybody here dies. That's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
I think that we just all need to acknowledge that anybody that would do that for any reason, like, yeah, there's a screw loose. There's never a story that you give as like, this is why I murdered all the strangers in that building. There's never a, oh, okay, I get it. No, they did that to you. Gotcha. No worries.
Yeah, that's not.
No, there's definitely something wrong with you, especially if it's in an environment where like it's meant for a good time. Like you're going in there to have a good time. You're not going in there to like see your enemy. Like that shouldn't be your intention.
But but some people get so silly when they try to figure out, like, why would this person do that, or why would they do that? What would be the answer that you're looking for that would be satisfactory? It's just stupid to try to figure it out.
Hateful, and that's something I never understood with.
I don't even know about hateful. They're not wired right.
Something's wrong with them. Like something's wrong with them. They shouldn't. Something happened to his ego at that moment. Like it just.
I don't know.
I've never been, bro. I've been like shit faced drunk, and I probably should have been beat up a few times, but that's only because I was probably talking a lot of shit. But like, there's never been a situation where I want to fucking like kill everybody. Like that's never been like the reality of like what was going on in this club. Like that's
No,
never.
I
It's
think
never.
no, I think most people don't even like the notion of murdering somebody.
I've
Even
had that
I,
notion
I
once.
think I, you may feel angry enough that you want to murder somebody, but the reality is, I think most people, I don't know, I'm talking out of my ass, but I think most people are like, I would feel horrified if I had to murder somebody. But if somebody was going to be murdered, it would have to be for a good reason or self-defense, like not just, indiscriminate or a stranger or for something fucking stupid, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no
Because
excuse. There's no excuse.
That's
like
why I
that
always
that
wonder
that
why
dude,
people don't like they don't like to use the phrase mental illness when it comes to people who do this kind of shit. It's like people are totally against mental illness. They want it to just be like pure evil. He's just evil, hate, blah blah blah. It's like so you think regular people who don't have mental illness do this kind of shit? This motherfucker's clearly crazy. Like I
right?
get you don't want him to have a soft sentence or I get that part. But to just completely deny the option of mental illness seems like kind of counterintuitive. Like this is a crazy motherfucker. Nobody does this. Nobody does that.
I don't think they want to take away the mental illness. It's just like the horror of the crime. It's just basically what you said. Like when you give that reason of mental illness, it's like, oh, he could go to a mental facility instead of like fucking being spit in the ass.
Yeah, because
That's just
clearly
all
that's
it
how
really
you
is.
fix this
Because it
motherfucker.
all does boil down to mental fucking illness. It does.
Dude,
Clearly.
you murdered 19 school children, like 5 and 6 year olds. Nah, dude, you're not here. You're
Yeah.
in a body, but you're not present.
Yeah.
Like you're somebody that's completely unstable. And like every one of these dudes, I know we've had like two in the last couple of weeks. We had back to backs. We had the one in Buffalo and then the one in Texas,
It
Uvalde
was
or whatever.
three, but one of them was hella quiet because this guy shot the
Right. Well,
kids.
that you talking about the one with the Taiwanese dude in like
I didn't
a salon or something
I didn't look
or
too
a
deep
church.
into it. I didn't look too deep into it because the Buffalo thing happened, and then
It
I
was a
remember
it, w- it
I
was a
remember another
family
one
thing.
happened.
But from what I heard, the one in the church was like some dude. I think he was from Taiwan, and it was like I don't. They said it was like something like family revenge or something like that. Is what I heard. It wasn't. These were people that knew each other. It wasn't a super like a
Oh,
random.
okay.
I'm walking into a grocery store. I'm walking into a school. So I wouldn't put that one in the same vein. But the one that was like what appears to be for no reason at all, both of those dudes were on SSRIs, and both of those dudes were in chat rooms with federal agents. Both of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And it's always crazy to me. It's like, so you watch this dude the whole time. You got his phone. You got all the metadata. He says he's going to Buffalo to kill people. You don't see his cell phone pinging on his way to Buffalo. Like maybe we should intervene.
But even there's cases too where like the FBI checks on them, and then they walk away from it.
I don't know, man. How do you, if you're gathering the data from everybody at all times, how are you walking away from somebody? You're telling me you couldn't get a FISA warrant if a dude was like, well, he's in this chat room and he said he's going to murder strangers, and he did call into the school 4 years ago and say he was going to murder everyone there.
I don't
You
know.
think we could get a FISA warrant with that? Like, yeah, I think that's grounds that you could tap his phone. I mean, if you tap people's phones and pull all their email and Discord history and all that other shit, if you're grabbing all of that shit, right? You're cataloging it. You got it in some storage facility or whatever in Utah. Okay, that would seem like a good reason to be like, hey, we should be monitoring this dude 24/7. Like he said he's gonna go kill people. We've got the record of the gun purchase. I think he's really gonna go kill people. And I've been egging him on in this chat room so we could catch ourselves a white supremacist, and he seems to be rolling with it.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Nah, man.
It's so
there was
weird.
there was
It's
that
so
one.
weird.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Like it's just so weird that like they're watching these people, and like the fact that
But
you
never
purchase
catch
a
'em.
gun, the fact that they purchase a gun should be like the number one thing. Like
Right.
at least.
You wouldn't stop monitoring his cell phone at all. And if he says He's talking to a federal agent in some chat room on Reddit or Discord or some shit, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to Buffalo. Like, you see his car going to Buffalo. What are you doing? Silly shit, man.
Well,
So
somebody's gonna be pissed about it. Somebody ain't gonna like it. You know, there's gonna be these freedom folk and people like that. They're not gonna like it. So I mean, just like there's people complaining right now about rappers with RICO charges and how you can't use his lyrics against him. I'm like, if this motherfucker say I'm flipping bricks and then the cops kick his door in and he got bricks.
I don't understand that argument either. I'm like, come on, like I understand we're all dancing and singing to the music, like we want to be these people. And then when the motherfucker's over here saying you got to catch a body to be part of the crew, and then you're like, you can't use this, and like what do you expect? What do you expect the law to do? Like they're looking from the outside in. What do you expect to do? Like I hate that argument. Like if the motherfucker was saying he sold 10 bricks.
And then they run down on you, and you got a trunk full of cocaine. I'm like, well, that worked out nice. Now,
that's what I'm saying.
If I'm rapping about fucking killing people and selling drugs, and then the cops start their surveillance, and all I'm doing is tending my garden, and then I go in the house and rap about murder, you know, you can pull the plug on that investigation, obviously. But if you say you doing some shit, and then they start looking at you, and it seems like you actually doing the shit, that's just you snitching on yourself. I don't think that's no government overreach. I don't think it's any invasion of privacy. What if a guy was talking about sex trafficking on podcasts or rapping about sex trafficking, and then you catch him with a trunk full of fucking, you know, duct tape and chloroform and shit like that? Would you still be like, oh, that's an invasion of privacy? Like, get the fuck out of here. He's actually doing this shit, and he's telling you he's doing this shit. Grab him.
No. I got a show later. These are just props. I'm gonna come out on stage with the duct tape.
No, grab him. Grab him, bro. Fuck that.
Yeah, I can't be part of that argument either, bro. Like you sitting there rapping about it, and then like you're involved in things that's going on in the city. Like clearly, like you're involved in things. You're telling people, oh, you didn't kill him yet. You didn't do anything yet. Like, come on, yo. Come on,
dude. If I was rapping about doing illegal shit, that would be the time of my life I was doing the least amount of illegal shit I've ever done.
Right.
You would think that, though. You would think that for
particular. Listen, anybody who's smart is like, listen, there's a partition. We know who the goons are. The goons are going to do what the goons need to do, and we're never going to ask any questions or know anything about it. So that I can honestly say, like, I don't know. You can't connect me. There's no text between me and this dude before so-and-so got murdered or got caught at this drug deal or whatever. You would want to be as far away from it as possible if you were making your living pretty much announcing it. But it's getting but now these dudes are doing it like the specifics, like when I shot you on September 4th, like just, you know, like
and then you want everybody to
latitude.
Say free you. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Nah, son. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Grab that motherfucker, bro.
Because I'm sick of that shit.
I've been sick of that shit for a long time, because hip hop likes to play both sides of the fence. Because you got these super articulate dummies, these motherfuckers who talk so slick on both sides. People like T.I., right? Like, this dude will talk all kinds of sideways on his album. He broken English, you know, he'll barely pronounce words on his album and talk about guns and drugs and murder, and then they'll tell you it's only entertainment, and then when you press them about it or something like that, they'll be like, oh no, it's real shit. This real shit. Don't get it fucked up. I'll kill you. Like, they want to convince the audience that everything is real, but as soon as it gets to any type of legality or anything like that, now all of a sudden it's just entertainment. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, man.
Either it's entertainment and you're not the guy you claim you are, which would make you fall out of favor with your fans. If it's not entertainment and you really are that dude, you sold as many records as you could before the feds came, and now you go to jail. Do your fucking time. You can't have it both ways, but they want it both ways. They'll look you right in your eye. Yo, this is just entertainment. Oh, so you're not really a killer? Oh, I'm really a killer. Don't get it fucked up. Like, oh, okay.
Well, he definitely promoted his criminal record as a means of authenticating him.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't run from it. He's like, oh, no. All these other dudes, where are their crack charges? Where are their illegal gun charges?
Right.
Huh?
And then the judge is like, is it true that you're a gun-toting, drug-selling killer? Well, expeditiously, technically, coincidentally, Your Honor, like, oh, why is you talking all these big words now? You get on the record and you be like, nigga don't know me, I'm a motherfucker. Like, what happened to that voice? Where's that voice? Where's this shit that sound like you had fucking hookworms in your feet for 20 years and your brain don't work right? Now all of a sudden you super articulate. That's fuckery. That's some sucker shit if you ask me. Talk to the judge the same way you talk to your fans. What's the difference?
I'm with you with that, bro. Like I can't like there's better ways to articulate yourself to prove your point. But if you're over here just saying like stupid shit on your lyrics, like come on now. Like it's you already know you're being watched.
I mean,
hip hop history has shown that they're watching.
The hip hop cops. Remember, that was like the biggest violation. People was like, yo, you know, there's hip hop cops, there's whole squads of police that's assigned just to hip hop. And they were saying it like they felt betrayed by the country. I'm like, do you hear what y'all motherfuckers talking about? If they was in country music talking about killing their wives and burying them under house, like if that's all they was talking about in country music, and those all the most popular artists had criminal records and used to be motherfucking, don't you think that there would be a country music squad or some shit like that that was following
saying.
Travis Tritt?
Right
There's
underneath
Mexican
Interstate
bands.
10.
I forgot the name for it, but there's Mexican bands that do
Yeah,
stuff
where
like
they
that.
give
yeah.
coordinates, moving drugs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Grab them all. I'm happy these criminals are stupid. I'm glad. I'm glad. Don't tell them to stop snitching. Don't tell them. Don't get no smarter. This is what the older rappers are saying. Y'all got to move smart. No, don't move no smarter. Sell the drugs and rap about selling the drugs. Keep your geolocation on your phone while you're doing the murders.
Instagram live it. We all want to know. Get your authenticity points.
I don't believe
These guys
son.
are dying by the drones too for the stupidity.
I don't believe you're real. I don't think you're a real murderer unless if you didn't live stream it on Instagram, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Even if you rapped exactly where the body was buried.
No,
we still don't believe you if you didn't Instagram live it. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for shitting on T.I. for that reason. Although I think it's a really valid point. That's a valid criticism that you could make of him. But I just feel like it's hard to figure out then what the line is between, you know, what you promote in terms of how you entertain other people versus how you actually live your life and what your values are.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's tough because whoever you want to criticize, I guarantee you got a favorite rapper that if you put that over them, it's like, you're going to find the exact same thing. My problem with T.I. is the moralizing. If he wasn't a dude that was out here trying to moralize and like be a killer Mike type, well, I don't think I think he's out of his depth when he goes there. That's why I have a problem with it, because it's moralized. Like, you could level any criticism you could put against T.I., you could put on 50 Cent. You could say, look, you basically made a career of making young black men look dangerous. Like, that's your lane of entertainment. Like, you're happy to put that out there, to package it and put it out there on a product, and you've made a living off of that. And you no longer have to sell drugs. But you've totally put that out there as like, hey, this is a lifestyle. And then say, oh, well, cops go in those neighborhoods, why are they harassing people? Like, you said you were from that neighborhood, and while you were there, all you did was kill people and sell drugs.
Right.
It stopped when you got out. Like, you basically told on everybody in this hood that you're representing, right? And then to come out later and say, okay, well, this is how I think people should live moral lives, and this is the moral conclusion about that. Why I love 50 Cent is because he doesn't give a fuck. He stays completely out of that shit. He's like, yeah, say whatever. I don't really give a fuck. Like, I'm a billionaire. I made all this money. I did it with this, but I'm not moralizing to tell you like, nah, this is right or this is wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, as soon as you step in that lane and you want to define for people what's right or wrong, like, you invite your life to go under a microscope. Like, this thing that you want to unravel and say that you got special insight into, or we should listen to you, or you got the answers. Like, dude, every single step of the way for you to come into this place to lecture other people, you are 1,000% a part of the problem.
Yeah, you like, should just be funding the good cause, not.
Hey, listen, I sold black families crack and completely destroyed them. I care about black people. I care about the community. I want to be a voice that speaks out for what's right and what's wrong. You ruin people's lives for money, for filthy lucre. Wasn't like, oh, I had to feed my family, get a job at Circuit City. It's not as glamorous, but it doesn't destroy black families. It sells them TVs. It tells them how sturdy the face buttons are. These aren't face buttons that are going to give out. Like, okay, if you want to be that kind of moralizing dude, like, all right, well, you got a lot of baggage you're bringing with you and a lot of destruction that you sowed to now say, look, I got the cure for all of this. I've got the answers. Like,
it's a cognitive dissonance that I won't say it's exclusive to hip hop, but I don't see, like, even if you look at,
it's pronounced.
It's very pronounced in hip hop because, like, if you look at some of the horrorcore people and all that kind of shit, like, these people rap crazy, they sing crazy metal songs and shit like that, but most of them, like, once they come off stage, if they go in an interview, they talk to people about their music, about their recording process. They're just regular people. They're not trying to convince you that they're serial killers in real life. And then people compare it to movies. It don't work. Like, oh, Robert De Niro can play a bank robber, but no, because Robert De Niro isn't gonna pistol whip you during an interview if you tell him he's not really a bank robber. He's gonna be like, duh, motherfucker, I'm an actor. Now, if you go up to one of these, if you tell T.I. you ain't really no gangster, you might start a fight. It might start a fight. Maybe not now at this stage of his career, but there was a time where it might have started a fight.
It still started a fight.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, which one is it? Which one is it? Metallica and all these heavy metal bands and shit, they're not trying to convince you that they're monsters in real life. And they could be. That's the trick. They could be monsters, but they know how to separate the music from their real life, so the cops don't have a reason to be like, I wonder if these Slipknot motherfuckers really, like, drink blood and sacrifice people to the devil. Because once they take their mask off, they just act like regular people. So it seems like they know how to separate the art from their actual lives. Hip hop is like, nah, in hip hop, they tell their fans, and the fans tell their artists. So it's like a mutual agreement. I would rather have a rapper who really kills people and tells the truth than a person who doesn't murder but lies about murdering on a record. So that means you would rather celebrate the murderer, but you're going to overly scrutinize a person who's not committing the crimes they talk about on record. That's some really stupid, counterproductive shit, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You ask me, if you're not killing people, but when you rap about it on a record and you convincing and you make me feel like this motherfucker could actually be murdering, and then you see him in an interview and he's like, oh, heavens no, this is just a character that I play. I'd be like, damn, son, you pulled that one off. I wouldn't be mad at him for not killing people.
Right, but but think about it like this though. The claim to fame for the authenticity of it and how people are scrutinized over their authenticity as it relates to hip hop. You have to be able to lay claim to the fact that, listen, I take pride in this notion that I'm from a place where somebody may murder you for no good reason. And I live in the danger of that, and that's what authenticates me. Like, you can't get through the door without that being questioned. Like, to what degree? To what degree? And then, dudes are calling each other out like, okay, well, you really didn't do it. You just make songs about it. So there's kind of an understanding that it's selling this authenticity piece, and then a dude comes and he's the spokesperson. He's maybe the artistic one, the creative one. He's maybe not super thugged out, but he's been around the thugs enough to know, to be familiar with a lot of, so he kind of becomes the artistic spokesperson. And there's this, claim to fame, like, okay, I'm the authentic spokesperson. People from around here know who I am. If you fuck with me, they'll fuck you up. But I'm not the guy that will fuck you up. I'm the artist, and I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
if you go back to the, old days, like Cold Crush, Busy Bee, and all that old Spoonie G, old shit, them dudes look like the Village People.
Right.
Like the World Wrecking Crew, whatever. The shit Dre was just
Wrecking Crew.
Right. That was just something that was like, hey, you're a performer. You got some ridiculous shiny shit on. It looks really gay. It may not, but it's the times, whatever. But there's nothing like you have to be hard as fuck. Like, no. You're clearly an entertainer.
Right.
Like you thought Rakim knew people that sold drugs, not that Rakim was selling drugs.
Right.
I'm gonna dress up like a drug dealer, but most drug dealers aren't gonna be as clever as I am with lyrics. So it's kind of understood. Like, this is what the drug dealer looks like. This is the slang and the style. But I'm an artist. And at some point, people just got rid of the middleman. Like, look, I'm not very creative and I don't really rap that good, but I could basically hold people at gunpoint to just make lyrics for me, and I can be the person. Why do we need to rely on these artistic types? Fuck that. You know you're rolling with our energy, so we're just gonna move in on this and remove
it's the evolution of hip hop. This is what it is now.
Right. And nobody was
the sad part
scrutinized
is
for the other way.
The sad part is that they continue the crime. That's the sad part about it. It's like at some point in time, the people around you and you yourself have to understand that the amount of money you're making now, you no longer have to do these illegal activities. If you want to talk about what you've experienced in your life, that's one thing. But like continuing these activities is stupid. It's stupidity.
Right, and nobody would scrutinize you the other way. Like I remember when that story surfaced about KRS-One beating up PM Dawn. Like, you don't get no points for that. Like, PM Dawn, it was some singers and shit. Like, they were singing R&B. Like, if you run up on an R&B singer and he beat your ass, I don't think nobody's gonna be like, oh, I thought you was an R&B singer. Why'd you beat the shit out of that guy? Nobody would say that. But if you pretend to be a gangster and you not killing people, that's where the scrutiny comes in at. I thought you said you was a drug dealer. You're not dealing no drugs. It's super, super goofy. And it's like, technically, that's like you're chipping at the pillars of your own culture. If you require these people to be some kind of gangsters and killers, especially if there's not a lot of, if it seems like there's not a lot of other options open. It's not like the playing field is level like it was back in the 90s. Like my daughter she stumbled across Main Source. So she was listening to the song Hanging Out by Main Source. And I showed her looking at the front door. And I'm like, this is a legitimate, like, emotionally vulnerable song by a rap group. Like, and Large Professor and all them, they probably would roll your ass out under the right circumstances. But this is a song, this was a big single about this guy not liking the way his girlfriend was treating him, and he's thinking about leaving her. Like, that's some shit that you don't hear in hip-hop very often. They expect you to be like, yo, I pistol whipped that bitch, I caught her cheating. Like, that's more acceptable in hip-hop than like, yo, we fight every night. And that's not kosher. I reminisce about the days we was closer. They like, now you would be called the pussy for that. 100%. They'd be like, yo, this dude's a sucker. But you could do that in hip-hop back then, almost at the same time that Onyx was talking about stabbing people with fucking switchblades and shit, and nobody was going to point at them as soft. This was just the range that you could present yourself in hip-hop. Now there's almost only entirely room for killers and drug dealers and people who are willing to murder and all. Like, that's all you can do. If you try to come out on some neo-soul rap shit right now, you ain't got much of a shot. Not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, look at, dude, one of the biggest rap groups. Drake brought it back into hip hop. He brought that emotional shit into hip hop almost single-handedly, while everybody was calling him gay.
He still portrays that thug attitude though. He still portrays it though. He'll still say certain things. He still act a certain way because he has to act that way because of his peer group.
Well, I look at it as it's a duality thing. Like he said in that song about pulling a strap on somebody, and he said, would Drake do some shit like that? You never know. Like, you can't think just because this dude's rapping about girls and shit that you can just back him into a corner and fucking take his money. Like, anybody will fuck you up if you put him under the right circumstances. Anybody can be like, yo, that's it, I had enough. And most people who've been in the street will tell you, you bully somebody long enough, he might shoot you in the face. That's just real shit. So just because he chooses, that might be his natural alignment as to be softer, more emotional, but that don't mean that either he won't or some people who he feeds might come see you. That's real shit, and I don't see that as any type of contradiction, because you fuck with the wrong person for long enough, and you might catch a bad one, bro. You might catch a bad one. Consistent, like, you remember Taxstone? Right?
Yeah,
we was talking about Taxstone. That shit was hilarious. Yeah, I was pushing him. I spit on him. Yeah, then he shot you in the fucking face, B. Like, this is how it goes.
I kissed this girl in front of him. Like, he's fucking an asshole.
Grabbed this girl, but I spit on him in front of his mother. Yeah, and then he shot you in the face. You know what I'm saying? That's how that story ends. But that's not a contradiction on the other dude's character. Oh, I thought you was a punk. He been bullying you all this time. Why you shoot him now? No, you fuck with somebody long enough and you can get it. That's what that is. So and it goes the same way the other way. You don't have to be a gangster all the time, but just to hold somebody to that standard is kind of weird, bro. But Drake brought this shit single-handedly back into hip hop, and probably at the time when we needed it the most, because shit was going real bad. But
because Lil Wayne was drugging it out.
yeah. How many people died from like? I was talking to my sons about this recently. I was talking to them about the whole lean thing in hip hop and how drinking that drug became iconography in hip hop. How many years did we see people with 2 styrofoam cups stacked together in rap videos? And that was expressly all it was about. There was no other reason to hold a styrofoam cup in your video. It's not just a prop. A red Solo cup. There could be anything in there. That's usually a signification that we're drinking beer at the cookout or at the party or some shit like that. But 2 styrofoam cups is specifically for fucking codeine cough syrup. That's what that shit's for. And that was a legitimate hip-hop accessory for a long time. And that shit was taking people out, killing people. But for some
they're
reason,
still in denial about that shit.
it's cool. It was just cool.
They're still in denial about how detrimental that is.
Yeah, because they're fucking drug addicts. You could find a person right now in the alleyway scheming on stealing something from somebody so they can get some more crack and ask them, do you think crack is bad? I'm like, well, not really. Like, oh, okay, well, go for it. Do what you got to do. Drug addicts they're very rarely going to admit that the thing that they're addicted to is completely detrimental. We can't look at the drug addicts to be the ones to warn people about the drugs. But when they doing all this shit, they making all this money. The problem is, if you was poor, broke, and living in a fucking alleyway, and you was talking about drinking lean, we might not be so attracted to it. But if you got on a Rolex and a whole bunch of diamonds, and you're around 15 big booty women, maybe lean is kind of cool.
Fuck out of here with that, bro. I took OxyContin one time, bro, because to make a long story short, I knew this kid who used to sniff OxyContin, and then like I was avoiding it because I already knew like the ramifications of it. But like I think he caught me slip. Well, I didn't think, but he caught me slipping because like I had like this pain. It had to be on my leg or something, whatever it was bothering me for a couple of days, and I was like, fuck it. So to make a long story short, I took it, and then I started smoking weed with it, and then I'm on the fucking chair, slumped. Like in my mind, I'm like, I want to get up, I want to do something, but I cannot move. And that's when I'm like, I can't do this shit. Like, this is not for me.
Yo, smoking weed with painkillers. I made that mistake one time when I was a teenager because I wasn't taking a lot of painkillers, but I had like a tooth removed or something. And I wasn't even thinking like, if I take this painkiller for my tooth that's removed, it's going to matter if I smoke some weed. And yeah, dude, sink right into the couch. It's horrible. It's like it's too much. I was like, yo, that was too much.
Yeah, and then you're fucking throwing up, and then you're itching because you need Benadryl.
I didn't say all that. They didn't do all that to me.
Well, the Oxy does. Oxy does that.
Oh, well, I didn't fuck with Oxy.
Yeah, Oxy does that because if you go to the hospital and they give you like super like high pain medicine, Benadryl is gonna be behind it because Benadryl helps with the itching.
Look, this is the moral of the story is culture matters, because culture is the hand that animates the glove. It's the machinery. The hip hop machinery, the culture was such when we were kids that you could not make that shit cool. Like there was no crackhead rapper in the 90s that was openly a crackhead. Like, look, I'm fucked up, I'm shitting and pissing on myself, I sold a TV, like this is like nah. Like
the closest we had was old
Eminem brought that pill shit in there.
Eminem?
There was no pill talk until Eminem. I'm absolutely certain of it.
And Old Dirty Bastard didn't blame his shit on drugs. He just presented himself as a crazy person, and that's why everybody loved him. He wasn't like, yo, I'm cracked out, check me out. He was just like, yo, this is just how I am. So we didn't really equate it to anything.
No, but he told us all he had a cocaine problem. When he dressed like Rick James on the second album, he was just telling us, like, look, I'm struggling with the white horse right now. I can't get off of this bitch. But it wasn't like, it wasn't like that was a thing that it was a one-off. You know what I mean? Everybody wasn't like, yo, Old Dirty I want to start doing cocaine too. I mean, for the most, everybody I knew was like, I can't do anything more than weed. Weed is just, that's it. Everything else is some, it's a path. You know, I had a cousin that got fucked up on heroin. Like, heroin will fuck you up. Cocaine will fuck you up. Like, it was just a known thing. Stay away from that. Stay as completely away from that. And that was interwoven heavily. You can have some exceptions, but it was heavily woven into the culture and the music at that time, where you couldn't shift it in a mass direction like you could now. You know what I mean? Like, because that's essentially what it is. All the people on pills and lean and all that shit it would be the equivalent if you were in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, and KRS-One went first, and it was a posse cut, and then you came in on the back end, and you were just cracked out, talking about the joys of crack and being cracked out all the time. It would just be unheard of. Like, no. Even if you're fucked up like that, we can't let you put that on record. Like, this isn't gonna fit. You're not gonna fit in the song or in the culture. Like, that's just too much.
It's the auto-tune's fault. That's why.
Auto-tune more than Eminem?
Well, as far as like Eminem bringing it up, but they're drugged out. The auto-tune makes it sound cool.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? Also, I recognize when I hate to keep singling out Florida, but it was such a culture shock for when I got here. There was so much shit that I saw here and energy that I felt when I got here that just didn't exist in New Jersey. Like slowed down music. I was so confused at that shit when I got. I was like, how the fuck do you drive around listening to music that's slowed down and repeating itself? It's like gotcha, right? I was like, what the fuck?
They're lean the fuck out.
Exactly. That's how the real world sounds to them. That's how the world sounds to them. So this is the thing that it's attractive, because this music is made for people who have this slowed down sense of consciousness because of all the fucking drugs they're on. So it made sense. Like you said, the culture is the underlying thing with all of this. In New Jersey, it was shit like Onyx. It was stick-up kid music. You know, it was fight music. It was just real aggressive, stomp you with my Timberlands kind of energy. And then down here, the underlying culture was being drugged out on explicit shit, not just smoking weed.
Florida's definitely a pilled out state, and you can blame Miami for that too. But you know, the crazy shit is, I've been here. I was born in New York, but I basically I grew up here my whole life. I never ever heard about this Florida man shit that, like, when crazy shit happened, I was like, okay, that happened today. And then when I left, it was like living somewhere else. I was like, oh, Florida's a crazy ass.
It is, bro.
You don't recognize the dysfunction when you're in it. You got to get away from it and get that bird's eye view. It's like, oh, humans are meant to live that way.
They're not supposed to eat each other's faces.
Right. Like, what does New Jersey man? What does New Jersey man do? What does New York man do? I can't even think of nothing. What does California man do?
I always thought like New York was like the wildest place, but it's until like I left Florida and I'm like, oh, Florida is kind of fucking wild.
Yeah, New York man is either a stick-up kid or a con man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember going to New York one time when I was younger, like just taking the train over from Jersey and just hanging out. And I guess when I was hanging out, my eyes were a little bit too big. I've been to New York a bunch of times, but this was one of the first times I went to Manhattan by myself as a young man. So I'm around all the porn signs and the peep show shit. So as a young dude, you just like, oh my God, there's like, you know, porno movies and peep shows like right through this door. So it's exciting as a teenage boy. And a guy, it's classic shit. I'm sure this shit's been in a bunch of movies, but he was standing right near this fucking alleyway, and there was a club that had like a side door. And he's standing in the alleyway. He's like, yo, you looking for some girls, yo? You looking for some girls? And I was like, I'm definitely going to die if I follow him. Like, I'm definitely getting killed if I listen to this guy. Like, I don't think I look like a person they could get a lot of money from. You know, I was like 16 years old. I did have a fucking full beard, though, at the time. So maybe he thought, I don't know what he was thinking, but I felt like, I don't think this guy's looking for money. I think they want to kill me or sell me to some kind of weird shit. I'll end up getting tortured back there. But that's what New York is. It's either con men, he's going to open his jacket and ask you if you want to buy a watch, or straight up, you know, stick-up kids. But Florida, man, that's like the wildest shit you ever heard. Florida man, it's about to be a crazy ass story. He went into a Walmart naked and tried to rape a senior citizen. Florida man, like it's just completely over the top nutty
That was
shit.
completely normal to me growing up. Like you hear like all these news articles and it's like, oh, that's just another day in Tampa. But then like when I left, this shit blew my mind. I'm like, this is not normal. Like people just don't do this.
I don't know, bro. It's the Florida. I can't even say it's the Florida heat because it's hot in a lot of places. Ain't no
it's the
fucking
drugs.
Arizona man. It ain't no Arizona man. It's pretty fucking hot in Arizona.
The doctors and pharmacists are to blame.
Hell yeah, dude. They be slinging mad crack, and it's like, wasn't it with that documentary shit? They was talking about all the pill mills. It was some like little town. So I don't remember where it was, but they put out more prescriptions than it was like 3 or 4 times the population of the town because people was just driving in there buying thousands and thousands of pills and driving off.
People have come from a different state to come here to get the pill. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. When I had my little stint with the oxys, the dude I was with, like it was like 15s and 30s, and like you're basically going to like trailer parks, finding out the most drugged out person and ask them if they know where to get oxycontins. It was ridiculous, and then the source was always the pharmacist. I think one chick I met in Georgia, she was getting bars. I forgot what bars are. I can't think of it right now. But she get prescriptions.
Xanax.
Yeah, Xanax.
Yeah.
She's like, you want some bars? I'm like, no, I'm good. Here for the pussy, and that's it.
You gotta hip hop, you have to acknowledge the amazing thing of literally having nothing, arguably being from like the lowest financial sector that you could be in if you live in America. You could talk about how it's privileged relative to the rest of the planet, but even still, like within the context of America, like it's a really shitty place. And it's like, okay, and how did you become a billionaire? Starting from that point, with all of these factors against you, people are selling drugs and killing people indiscriminately around you, and you're navigating that and writing little murder jingles based on those stories, setting them to music. And how much have you made now? I'm a billionaire. I've become a billionaire doing this. And what did you do again? I just put words together with mathematical precision in a stylish way. And I was clever. I literally just talked. I didn't need to learn how to sing or to carry a tune or even any kind of showmanship. Like I basically just get on stage and look scary. I don't really, if you need all that other shit, the lights and lasers and all of that, actually I kind of make fun of you. Like me, it's all about me and just how good I am at putting these syllables together. And what did that do again for you? I became a billionaire. Like on some, there's no way to not walk away from that and say, that's incredibly impressive. That's amazing that there's something like that can transition you in that way from just being able to do that to be clever enough, and to manage your career in that way and invest your money and be a billionaire off of that. Like it's amazing. You have to give it. You have to, if for no other purpose that it's created opportunities for people to feed their families and progress, and build a good life for themselves off something that it seems unimpressive, but it can't be unimpressive if it can generate that much money.
No, I completely agree with you. I just think they should draw the line of stopping the crime activity after you've reached $1 million. Like it has to stop at some point.
Of course, personally, but what I'm saying is, when you look at it in that context, it's super duper impressive. It's undeniably impressive. And then to kind of go back and make rules for how you navigate what's available, because at the end of the day, right, McDonald's could sell higher quality burgers for a higher price point and they would do less business.
Yep.
People like the shit. You know what I mean? And if you could be really, really thoughtful, I mean, most hip hop heads that I know would agree, like Black on Both Sides, Mos Def's first record is like it's one of the greatest of all time lyrically.
Definitely.
You may the beats are not really, man. If it's not even your style of music, just to listen to it and see This is how clever I can put these syllables together. And here's the points. Here's the really big points I can make in a really small couplet. And I can get that much information across. Like it's impressive. Like it's super duper impressive. Even if it's not your style of music, like you can listen to like, okay, like that's really clever. That's magical. Like that's a gift to be able to put words together like that. Like if you're able to do that and generate that wealth and create wealth for people around you, right? And you say, okay, my goal here is to make money. I could do something that exemplifies the grandest, most impressive, most substantive, intellectually deep, thought-provoking shit. I could craft something that's fucking magical. And I'm going to have less money to feed my family because less people are going to give a fuck about it. Or I can do like any other business, appeal to the lowest common denominator, call it pop, call it commercialization, whatever. And it distills some of the most ignorant, violent, unhelpful, just fucked up shit culturally. I can basically promote cultural suicide and distill all of this body of grandeur and impressive shit and throw the bulk out of the window and just distill it into just to the most negative aspects. This shit brings all of the bees to the beehive. This shit is sugar to ants. Nobody's eating the celery. Nobody gives a fuck about the celery. But it's gonna help you with your blood pressure. I don't give a fuck. I just want the tasty shit. So it's kind of hard to argue with somebody who's like, look, the legacy of hip hop is this is the potential for me to have a job that's not gonna land me in prison if I'm not doing the other shit. But just on account of making songs, I can become a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. And what's popping right now? What are people interested into? The market's making the demand. The demand for ignorant shit is more pressing than the demand for life-changing shit. That's the frequency that the most people are on. And if you're looking at it from a business perspective, I get it. I'd like to think that everybody has that higher moral calling to want to be responsible with the shit and use it as a tool or something positive. But if you're just looking at it as a businessman, it doesn't make business sense for me to try to do that. So it's hard. It's hard when you're criticizing people trying to navigate that tightrope of social responsibility, what makes business sense and is good for your family. And at the end of the day, what is my responsibility? Like, if you're making bad choices because you heard bad choices portrayed on a song, how much was I going to really prevent you from making bad choices if it all hinged on my song? So it's kind of irresponsible, and you'd like to think that more people would wield it responsibly, but it's just hard. It's hard to pin down we'll never agree on a universal lesson, but I even within myself, it's hard to pin down like what that line is, and when you've crossed it, and when you've maybe been irresponsible, or what people's obligation are. It's tough. It's tough to pin down what it should be.
I'll say this: the people, like you said, the people who are doing bad behaviors are definitely going to do them. The music that promotes the shit and kind of glamorizes it is just going to become the soundtrack.
Yeah,
like they're not teaching you to do anything. Because I remember when I was young, like when we heard certain songs, Das Effects, Onyx, certain shit like that. That's what we played when we was going to go do dumb shit. They didn't make us do dumb shit. We just knew that when we were going to go do dumb shit, I'm not going to listen to the Roots while I'm out doing dumb shit. You might as well play something that kind of fits into the vibe of what you're doing. And it's like, yeah, you got two choices. It's like you could play Speech is My Hammer, Bang the World into Shape and Let It Fall, or you could play Cooking Up Dope in the Crock Pot. So if you in a crack house, you cooking up some coke, which one are you going to play? You're not going to play some smart shit that makes you rethink or regret what you're about to do. You're going to play some shit that totally doubles down on all the stupidity that you're out here doing. That's how it goes. That's just how it goes. That's the bottom line. I mean, what can you do Nobody's gonna fucking think about it too hard. They're gonna do what they're gonna do regardless. No matter what kind of music you make, there's people who already agree with you that's gonna tap into it. I don't know if the music industry or anything like that is built on really built on the pillars of guiding people's behaviors or just giving them permission to do what they already doing. That's just the facts. Yeah, I don't know what were the drug dealers listening to when we were. I don't even remember really. Like I don't remember them playing too much music or no shit. I don't think they cared. They were just gonna do what they were gonna do. And then now, as time goes on, we start to try to point the finger at this or that. But people are just doing what they're doing, man. Heavy metal ain't make nobody start. It didn't make anybody start cutting themselves. You probably already were going to cut yourself. You just heard some music that happened to sound cool while you were doing the cutting.
Yeah, you already wearing black eyeliner. So you already wearing it.
You were already on it, son. You had the makeup, your mama's makeup on your face. You was painting your nails and shit. And then Marilyn Manson came out and he looked just like you. And you was like, yes, this is my spirit animal. Speaking of people who live in the life that they do in their music, isn't Marilyn Manson hooked up in some fucking Me Too shit right now?
I think it was a while ago he got accused by somebody.
I saw
a model
the woman,
or somebody he worked with or something.
Yeah, she's in the video. She was in the video with him. She said that he was grooming her, and I don't know how I feel about that term anymore. Like it's kind of weird. Like I feel like if you're gonna technically groom somebody, there has to be a lot more, not necessarily of an age difference, but I think the person who's being groomed has to be a lot younger and more naive. I don't believe you could be groomed as like an 18, even 17. So like, I don't think you can be groomed. I think you want to be close to certain people for certain reasons, whether it's because they're older than you and they seem cool, or if they're a celebrity. I think you have to make the choice to put yourself in league with them, and then kind of just do what they want you to do because you want to get their favor. But she was in this video with him, and all his videos are like kind of like bloody and abusive, and they allude to a lot of torture and weird shit. And she was in this video. She said that he drugged her and raped her in the video. So when you watch the video, you're watching a person on drugs be raped in the video. And I was
that
just like,
I did not hear. That's an extraordinary claim.
Oh yeah, it's just serious shit.
And we're talking what, 25 years later?
They got a porn star for that too, but
you didn't say nothing for 25 years. Didn't report it to the police. Nobody. But now, I don't know. I would look into what Marilyn Manson is doing. Is he funding Elon Musk and helping him buy Twitter?
Maybe. Yeah.
What's he doing? Because didn't Elon got a Me Too shit come out too?
Yeah, but that's right after he said he's going Republican. But the same thing happened to a porn star. What's his name? Rico Strong. The same thing happened where like the girl said he raped her and everything as the camera was rolling and everything. But lucky for him, there's somebody else was recording behind the scenes everything that happened, and like he's over there being like super nice to her, giving her water and all that shit, and she tried to do a whole Me Too on him.
Well, yeah, that happened
Me Too on a porn star.
And it was recorded while it was running.
Yeah, that happened to the other guy too. There's some guy, I think he called himself like Uncle something. It's like an old white dude, and a woman said she did a whole like video, like one of those celebrity videos where they stare at the camera and they're crying. They're like, oh, please don't use guns anymore, while they have armed security guarding their houses and shit. Those motherfuckers. And she had one of these videos where she's talking directly to the camera and she's breaking down all the things that happened, all the shit that he did to her. And then somebody took that video and intercut the behind the scenes footage from the porn shit. So it was really insensitive, but it was good to see in real time, because if you watched her video and then go and watch the fucking behind the scenes porn shit, it'd be easy to forget the references and what the claims were, so they intercut it. And this bitch is just straight psycho. She's just crazy. She's like, yeah, he was choking me and I didn't know if I was gonna live or die. And then they cut to her saying, choke me, you fucking like you told him to choke you. Like, what are you talking about? You can't do this. Not to say that a porn star can't get raped, but when you're on set and you've given your consent, they make you take a picture with your ID and all this shit. You sign papers, you get paid.
Yeah, there's checks and balances.
That's what I'm saying. There's checks and so whether you think it's immoral or not, it's all there. So for you to afterward turn your regret into some kind of rape story, that's like you and you know it was all recorded. You got to be off your fucking rocker, like
There's a
completely off your rocker.
there's a porn company that got in trouble recently. I forgot the name of it, but they were actually raping these girls. But like the dude, I don't know if they found the dude, but they arrested like 2 out of the 3. The other dude disappeared. But my thing is, like, you're going to go do a porn shoot, and they're telling you, oh, no one's gonna see this over here. Like, you really think that's gonna happen with the internet?
Goofy,
Like,
bro.
no one's gonna happen to it. But they were actually raping those girls. Come to find out, and then like some of those girls was getting raped after the fact because they did the porno video. But I don't know. Like, I think when you sign up for porn, you should know what's coming afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a documentary that they made. It was called like Girls Wanted or some shit like that. Like they were like an ad in the paper would say Girls Wanted, and they were saying like these guys contacted them. Oh no, they saw an ad somewhere and they called the people from the ad and it was like, yeah, we just like basically just said we give pretty girls $1,000 type shit. Oh yeah, come out here and we'll take some pictures of you, and if you're beautiful, we'll give you $5,000. And these goofy, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. How delusional do you have to be like, oh, they're just gonna pay me because I'm pretty? Like, no, they're gonna ravage your hole.
Yeah, bro. Like I understand. Like I give you up to 25 for your naiveness, and depending on the age of the people that's manipulating you. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would understand. Like, you're a dummy. You see the ad, and then you walk into a room and it's a room full of guys, and now you're stuck in a predicament. You see what I'm saying? So like now you have to like slowly sell your soul to get raped and then get out that situation. I understand it, but I mean, like, come on, like. There's an ad for pretty women. They're giving you $1,000. Like,
yeah, you get a one-way plane ticket. You leave your house. You show up at this dude's crib. There's 7 other bitches there, and they're looking at you like, "Oh well."
It's like those, like the Dubai trips, and the women end up getting killed. Like, what do you expect in a third world country with this motherfucker's the king? This motherfucker's the king. But he's the king in this country.
You should know what you're getting. You go to Dubai. Like, if you fly to California, there's a possibility that you make a couple movies and create some stardom for yourself. There's a lot of examples. You know what I'm saying? There's women that you can find in California that's like, yeah, I gave 700 blowjobs on film. Now I live in a mansion. Like, those stories actually exist. There's porn stars that we know by name because they're almost like mainstream acceptable after some degree of all the sex work. If they can kind of transition that into showing up to strip clubs and doing podcast interviews, there's one of them that all of them are not seen as these filthy fuck pariahs that nobody want to pay any attention to. Some of them are celebrities. Like, yeah, some of them are legit celebrities. So I could see having that about California, but in Dubai,
yeah, there's this one big booty white chick. I forgot her fucking name. She had like
big booty white chick will do it.
The name was close to that, bro. I promise you. If you're gonna look her up, she had like a special name for her ass. She went to fucking Ghana.
Oh my god.
She went to Ghana, right? And then they kept her in a hotel, and then next thing you know, like she ended up dying. She just ended up dying, and of course, like, everybody says, oh, she just died, with medical records and everything. Nobody got arrested.
Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen? Like, there's no checks and balances in those type of countries.
Were you talking about the stripper?
I don't remember what she was or whatever.
I think it was a stripper, and there was some controversy around her death. Like, it was mysterious, they were saying.
Yeah, because she had COVID, and then she was worried about going because they kept her at a hotel because she was feeling sick. And then, like, I guess they got tired of waiting. They're like, "You're coming with us." And then next thing you know, like, she just ended up like. They found her dead at the hotel room.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I mean, that's a fucked up place for most women anyway, let alone women in sex work. That's one of those, talk about cognitive dissonance. That's the place that loves depravity, but they punish it really extremely harshly. You know what I'm saying? There's people who've been to Dubai where the woman was flirting. She said she was flirting with some guy at the bar, and she was kissing him and shit like that. And the cops grabbed her ass and was like, "Yo, this public indecency or something," and locked her ass up. And then she said that the prison guards in the place raped her. Like 3 or 4 people raped her while she was locked up. It's like, oh, it's indecent to kiss somebody you're not married to in public, but we all gonna rape you in jail, and that's completely decent. Like,
Yeah,
that's stupid.
That's why I feel like Muslims are so full of shit. Besides Christians could be full of shit too, but like Muslims take it to a whole different level.
Well, their fuckery is codified. That's the difference. Like Christians at least had a renaissance. You know, they had a rebirth of their religion. It was like, yeah, we used to say chop your head off, but now we say turn the other cheek. So they changed it. Like Islam hasn't had a renaissance. Islam is still with the bullshit. They like, yo, we down with the fuckery, bro. Trust me. They'll stone you to death for wearing lipstick.
And you need like 4 witnesses in Dubai, I think.
4 male witnesses.
Yeah,
if a woman
to
gets
corroborate
raped,
your story.
She needs 4
Which
male
basically
witnesses.
just means like rape on the moment you touch down in the
Yeah.
country. It's like game on. Like we can get away as long as I only rape you in front of 2 other men, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, fuck Dubai as a country.
Those are brave. Those are brave women.
As
bro.
an organization.
Yeah, as a tourist
holiday
location,
destination.
just fuck Dubai all the way around. I would never go to a place like that. For one, I completely.
I get mad when
I reject
entertainers
that
go
shit.
over there and they videotape themselves. I'm in Dubai. I'm like, you're basically promoting slavery, and all the depravity man could come up with. Like that's what you're promoting. Like I don't see the desire to go over there. Like you might as well just go to Vegas.
Bro,
Yeah,
they got the
decadent on
world's
another
tallest
level.
building. They got the world's tallest building, and they don't even have a sewer system.
There's dead bodies on every single one of those buildings. There's piles and piles and piles of dead bodies.
But that tells you what their
Every single
priorities are. They built the world's tallest building. Like you can say, oh, it's beautiful. You can see it from 10 miles away. Well, and you wake up early in the morning, like, what are all these trucks? Oh, they're septic trucks because we don't know what to do with shit. So we got a stream of 150 trucks that come here every day to pump all the shit out and drive it off into the desert. And they probably just unload the trucks in the desert. Let's keep it real. It's not like they're going to some kind of reclamation plant or some shit. They're just spraying that shit in the sand somewhere, bro.
That shit gets right back into the earth.
Ooh, but maybe it's like terraforming, so it turns it into like a garden.
Yeah,
Like
maybe they're
over
going
time,
to regreen the desert, maybe, by mistake.
That's their long-term plan. It's like, look, we're not going to build any sewers. We're going to make it so that everybody comes here. We'll have the most highest priced celebrities come here. Of course, they eat better. Their shit is nutrient dense. We dump it into the sand, and voila, we got the Garden of Eden. Now we got ripe farmland, resources. I might even put some oil in the ground.
It's horrible.
It's a good strategy.
I mean, if you do it on purpose,
commend
yeah. But I don't feel like Dubai is doing it on purpose. I think it's just a side effect of fuckery. Like we've been spraying shit in the same spot for 5 years and some grass grew. Who knew? Who knew?
Let's grow some stuff on top of it.
We just wanted a safe place to rape women on boats.
And look, we got some grass out of it. Nice.
Holy shit! Now all these rich people are coming over.
Yeah, fuck
Man.
Dubai, bro. I'd never go to Dubai. They couldn't pay me to go. I wouldn't give a shit. I mean, I might like if something happened to where we became famous and in high demand. Like, yeah, we'll give you $1 million each if you come do a live podcast.
But I won't shit in your country.
Yeah, I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna do it, and I'm flying out same day. I'm not fucking around in Dubai. Bro.
Yeah, I'm going part of my ride is going to be I get to bring a security team.
Everybody still gets to die, bro.
I get to bring an armed security, so at least I have a chance.
Dude,
I'm bringing all my own snacks. You ain't gonna poison me with your
right?
cranberry
I'm
juice.
not drinking your water. None of that.
I mean,
I'm
I
going
mean
in there
Jesus
fasting.
and drinking Zephyr Hills.
I'm going in there fasting. No, I'm good. I'm fasting.
Yo, I'm gonna create a security company called the Templars, just so we can come in. They all got red crucifixes on their uniforms and shit. I'm gonna be trolling hard as fuck, yo. That's the only way I go to. Yo, these are the Knights of Templar. That's my security agency.
We definitely have to start making the clause now if they ask us to go to Dubai.
Yeah. We gotta have our Dubai toy rider written out, like all of that. Oh, fuck that, bro. I ain't fucking with them. They'll kill you for smoking weed over there. But I guarantee you, if you call them to your room and say, "Yo, I got a brutally raped dead stripper in my room," they'd be like,
Bro,
"Don't worry, brother.
they'll
We'll
kill you
take care
for
of it."
they'll kill you for everything that the man could see. But once they go behind closed door, they're all doing the same shit.
And worse.
They're all smoking the weed, they're all drinking the drink, and they're all fucking having gangbangs. Like it's like a weird thing to me with that.
That's the story of humanity. That's the story of humanity. It's just like these Christian preachers that's like, anal sex is immoral. Let me guess what you're doing on your weekends. Do we? Of course we know what you're doing. I just saw a video the other day of a girl outing a preacher. She said that he had sex with her when she was 15 in his office or some shit like that. And after a long time, if all the truth came out, so he apologized to his congregation, and they was all like applauding him and shit. And then the girl, she's like 20 something, 27 years old or something like right now, and she jumped up and was like, "Yo, he's lying. He's not telling the whole truth." And she started telling her story, and then it got all quiet, and people were like, it's like they were rooting for the preacher. They were more concerned with his redemption arc than the actual fact of what he did.
Your motherfucking ass down, bro.
Oh,
I will beat you down. I will beat you down. And then I'll think about your apology. Like, fuck all that.
That's what I've been saying.
Fuck all that.
It's all the time. Where are all the disgruntled fathers? But if you're like indoctrinated into the culture, you know, if you caught up in this shit too, if you brought your daughter to the church and you trusted the preacher around your daughter and all of that shit, then you can't then flip out and choke him out in the middle of the ceremony because you were
fuck
complicit.
that. Fuck that.
You
because
were complicit.
It's I'm only speaking because I've been through it in a sense, but it's just like it's when they have kids and you have kids and then like everybody's supposedly trusting everybody. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a community of people coming together and helping each other out. But you know, I'm gonna go to work. Okay, you can watch my kids. But at the back of my head, I like, you got kids too. You see what I'm saying? But what if I find out you did something, like, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. Dude disappeared from me, bro. Disappeared from me.
Everybody doesn't know how to tame that beast. And some people look at it as an opportunity to leverage that position and access to feed the beast that they haven't tamed. Like, everybody's supposed to know there's these organizing principles that help us to be as fair as possible to anybody that we deal with. Everybody doesn't, you know, some people are just my primal shit is all that matters. I got to satisfy this beast that I carry with me. I have to just give it what it wants. So there's no moral argument. Like, I'm not going to fuck this 15-year-old girl. I'm not going to, but I can't. I'm alone with her. Nobody's going to believe this bitch. I have a position that affords me a little bit more cover that they would question the veracity of her story. So yeah, I'm just going to feed this impulse. So I don't know, man. That, again, intentional communities, you got to move away from people. You know, there's always, I don't know how you pick it out in people. I guess that's what people debate about is how do you clearly identify that people are snakes or not? You know, some people are really good at putting on that show like they got their shit under control.
You got to pay attention to what's going on. So when people are disappearing and not leaving, and I mean, people are leaving and nobody knows why they left, and then the leadership is like, oh, they left because they just really were horrible people. You have to start questioning that.
And accountability. It has to be accountability. A lot of people who find themselves in these things that are organized that way, they put all their trust in a person, right? So when people start acting funny style or something like that, they don't want to destroy the icon, so they find a reason to excuse the behavior.
I'm destroying it. I'm burning it down. Everybody's going to hell, bro. I'm only speaking because of the experience, bro. Like, I'm like, you don't want me part of your little church group if you're out here doing shit like that.
Well, think about it like this. Let's say we created a cult that changed the world completely, and now there was just this force and this mechanism in the planet that influenced people to move in a positive direction, and it worked. There was less people killing each other. There was less people starving. Human beings learned how to use a little bit more foresight and a lot less selfishness. when they were deciding how they would interact with one another, how they would invest their energy and solve their problems. Let's say that worked for like 100 years and the world is undeniably better. And then at year 101, somebody in a position of power within that same framework just fucks everybody over. And so as a result, people are like, fuck this shit. This shit is. Now the reality is, it's like, nah, all these principles undeniably improve the quality of people's lives. Humans did better humaning by putting this into action.
Yeah, you just still have to punish that person in power. You can't ignore the fact of the good that was being done. You can't.
Right. And I think what people have the tendency to do is the institution and the icon is more important than what the actual service is of the icon.
That's exactly right. What it is, bro. Because that's exactly like basically.
And there's people's livelihoods at stake too.
Yeah,
you know,
Judges said it, bro. Like it's like I'm providing you everything that you need. I'm giving you everything that you need. I'm here. I'm giving you judges too that tell you when you fucked up. But y'all want a king? Okay, if you get a king, he's gonna give you all these things, but he's gonna rape, pillage, take all your firstborns and all that. It's a perfect example of like that. It's gonna happen regardless, but you still have to punish that person for that. They still have to be punished and they still have to be shunned. Like you can't ignore the fact that this person was a bad person. We can't ignore that he fucked up. Like, but the things that were implemented worked. All right, so we have to make sure we make those laws are more important than that fucking person. Like when you sit there and highlight that motherfucker, you're only asking for more destruction because now you're making more excuse for the next person to come in and fuck it up even more.
See, the intrinsic truth is you can only punish somebody if the behavior is something that's out of the realm of possibility for the people doing the punishing. That's the problem right there. When this guy says, look, I've done great things for this community, explain to me why I can't receive blowjobs as payment. Most of the dudes in the community are going to be like, yeah, he's got a point. Because if I was in a position of power, I'd want the blowjobs too. And that's what it comes down to. They don't really deeply see anything wrong with what most of these people are doing. That because if we did, we would already punish them for taking everybody's money and not giving them any results in the mega churches and shit like that. But they don't. Like nobody's looking. A few people are, but most of the people who are looking at like Joel Osteen as some kind of huckster are people who have overarching like hatred of wealth. It's not people who were in the community or something like that.
It's not even that. If it didn't affect them, they're like, well, he was a good guy. But the person that it did affect, you're like treating them like shit. But if it affected
they gave
you,
their money away.
But if it affected you, you wouldn't be talking like, oh, this guy's just a full of shit too. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they don't punish people because the behaviors are not really. I think they're not all that bad. That's why you have a room full of men having this guy admit that that's statutory rape. He raped a 16-year-old in the church and held it secret for 10 years.
Those room full of men should have beat the shit out.
Exactly. They should have got up and stomped that motherfucker into strawberry oatmeal,
police,
bro.
Thank you for the great services and the speeches. We have them written down and recorded. You're a piece of shit. You don't have sex with a 16-year-old daughter or girl or whatever. Go out your business. You're banned for now. But we'll listen to the teachings. Like, fuck out of here.
He's gonna say, "He who's without sin cast the first stone."
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw the stone, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I sin too, but I know how to hold back to not fuck fucking 16, 17. You know, like fucking people who could be manipulated. I don't know, man. It's just because I've experienced this shit.
Nah, the shit's horrible. This shit's
I've
absolutely
experienced
horrible.
this shit, bro. And I've also seen it where like the people just sucking his dick. You see, they're just sucking his dick. It's like, yeah, everything he says is right. There's nothing he says is. I'm like, everything he says is right. Like, you can't correct him. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's garbage. But this is what we do, man. This is more often than not. This is how people do. They partake in these terrible ass behaviors, and they make excuses for it, and the people around them are so swept up in the mystery of it all. They swept up in the magic of it all. They just let it be. They let it be. When's the last time you seen a fucking preacher admit that they did something wrong and the congregation get up and stone this motherfucker?
Yeah, you don't because it's so wrapped up. It's so wrapped up
In
into
Dubai, they stoned a rape victim for getting raped.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, that's disgusting." Wait, so you said you got raped? So that means you had premarital sex? Bitch, you dead. But what about the guy who raped me? I need 4 witnesses.
That's
See?
so horrible, bro. That's so
it's
horrible.
fuckery, bro.
That's what I'm
Absolute
saying.
fuckery.
That's just another example of men should not be making laws for women. That's just a perfect example.
Nah, I think it's a perfect example of how pointless a lot of these equality and feminist and social justice movements, how phony them shits are. Like, if there's a place like that exists in the world, like, shouldn't you just be protesting that nonstop? In a country where they're telling you right to your face, like, look, it takes four upright men to tell the truth to witness some shit. Like, we have to validate your word. It's not like even one dude. There's one dude that's responsible for you. If there's one dude who is responsible for you tells us that that's how it happened, then we'll accept your testimony. Nah, there's got to be 4 other dudes. Although that's how worthless the shit that you got to say matters in this system of meting out justice. Like, that you know, if there's a thing as toxic masculinity or patriarchy or some shit that needs to be fought that's systemic, like, that's some systemic shit.
And correct me if I'm wrong. He had nothing but daughters, right?
Who's that?
The Prophet
Muhammad?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I have no idea. He was
That's
a
what
sick
this-
fucker, though.
That's what this Muslim lady told me. Said he had nothing but daughters.
I don't know. I don't remember. I never really done a whole lot of like research on his personal life. I know that motherfucker did every horrible thing that you could possibly do and basically codified it like it was all good.
He was a cougar chaser, bro. I've seen a documentary of it where like he was just like this young dude that got lucky with his old lady, and then he just happened to like fall upon certain things. But I'm gonna stop saying what I'm saying.
Didn't he marry a girl that was like 12 years old or something though? One of his wives?
Yeah, she was.
I'm pretty sure.
She was
he
9
dated her
years
down.
old when he married her,
Down the road.
and claims that she was 12 or something like that when he consummated it. But I think if you marry a 9-year-old, I don't see why you'd wait a few years to bang her. That's what I'm like. What makes me so? Yeah, it's like they admit that openly. Oh yeah, the prophet, you know, he married Aisha when she was 9, but he didn't consummate it till she was 11. What the
Mormons
fuck?
do that.
Fuck
Mormons
outta
do
here.
that too, right? Like they marry him at 12.
But
16.
it's like, couldn't she just stayed with her mom and dad then till she was 12? Like, why did you have to lock it down, put a ring on it, right? You know, I can't let this one get by me.
It's the best way to manipulate the family.
It was a badass 9-year-old, bro. He was like, I gotta have it.
God.
That doesn't even. I can't even picture that, bro. Never in my life have I ever seen like a 9-year-old. Like, oh my god, I can't even picture that shit.
That's 'cause you ain't never seen Aisha, bro.
I don't know, bro.
outta here.
With my 36 years on this planet, bro, I've never seen like an overdeveloped 9-year-old. I just.
Yo, no, see, you're putting it into regular human male logic. You see how you tried to do that? You're trying to attach like big titties and a fat ass on a 9-year-old. If you're a fucking pedophile, you don't need that. You're trying to put
Oh my
adult
God,
women parts
bro.
on a child. They don't need adult women parts. The child is enough for them. It's it's psychopathy, bro. It's some crazy shit.
But that's what I was saying the other day in the text. It's like something about sex and man brings us back to like our most basic moment. I'm like, what makes you want to do that?
You sick. You're a crazy motherfucker. The same thing that makes you want to eat shit. Something's off. Your fucking wires are crossed, bro. Something ain't right with you. Period. That's the only way.
You have billions of people justify.
Something ain't right. Now see, when you start to get up into 13, 12, 13, then there's like this weird biological thing that happens.
Yeah, because like you have the growth spurt. So like
no,
I could
not even that.
understand.
There's no way to explain why a 12-year-old and could conceive. Like a little boy has sperm, a little girl has eggs in a period. But we all understand as adults in this society that they're not ready for sex. And they're not ready for conception. But it's a weird biological fact that they technically are ready, but we impose this morality on it like, no, not yet. I don't know what they're doing with that shit, but that's a real conversation. There's people in this world that would say that to you, and I personally don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. If a pedo said, "Well, she's got period and eggs, then she's ready for sex," I just be like, "Look, I'm leaving. I can't talk to this guy. This is not a debate. I'm gonna win. I can't win this debate.
It's gonna end up with me punching him in the face. Bro.
Right? And that's not right. That's not right because that's thought crime. As far as I know, that's thought crime. He hasn't done anything yet, but I can't answer that question. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. I agree with it. I agree that fucking 12-year-old children shouldn't be having sex, but I don't know how to answer the question. Then why are they biologically able to conceive at that age? I just concede the debate and I'm going home.
No, but this is the thing about the ingredients of nature, man. And we're not just primates. We're mice. That's why they do laboratory studies on mice. Mice are like one of our genetic ancestors. When you're talking about the ingredients and the recipe and the impulses, right, and all of those things, it's the same thing that makes that dude say that's a sexy ass 9-year-old is the same thing that makes the other person say, I'm fucking terrified of the color yellow and I'm terrified of clowns.
Right.
There's something that's shooting out the chemical. We become irrational. We're motivated by instincts. It's like, and this is gonna sound really fucked up. Like, I'm trying to be as academic about it as possible. Nature is fucked up. Nature is full of rape. That walrus raping the penguin is one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. It's horrible. Nature does some fucked up shit to you, and it's in the name of survival. Like, look, we gotta crank these babies out. The species may fail. Yo, you dropping blood, you dropping eggs, let's go. Let's make more Spartans. Let's make more soldiers. Let's make more. That's hardwired into us as a species, and it's again, it's fucked up. But this is why I think there's some truth to this whole, like, we're trying to become God shit. Like, we don't need God to forgive us. We don't need shit. Like, we're gonna work it all out. We're gonna be able to spy on all the evil and know what's going on. We're gonna be omniscient. And as far as behavior, we're gonna start fucking manipulating genetic codes, CRISPRing people, and to make them act right. Like, we'll produce morality on our own. Like, we could do it. We got this. Because I don't know what other way. Human beings are the product of nature, and nature has all these things in here. And we have civilization. We have these civilizing principles. We have religion. We have law. We have all of these things, and it never stops people being who people are. No threat is. There's no threat good enough. You know, you can have, because we've had the death penalty for lots of shit. At one point in human history, we would murder you if you picked up sticks on the wrong day. That's in humanity's credit score of what we're willing to do to you if we think that what you're doing is wrong. Hasn't stopped. We used to murder people that fucked goats. There are people fucking goats on the planet right now, on multiple continents. It's not even necessarily pinned down to one part of the planet, you know. And you go back 100 years, wasn't like fucking Pocahontas like 12, and John Smith was like 40.
Right.
I don't know how one-off or how weird that shit is or what point in history. But as far as biology is concerned, yeah, we're civilized. We have rules for a reason. We want people's brains to develop more because we understand, like, this isn't just some primal, we need to reproduce kids. We're not at that stage in species survival. Right? We're in a very comfortable space where there's plenty of us, and we want to respect individuals' rights and their life choices, and we recognize how big of a responsibility sex is. So we tell human beings, okay, wait till you're 18. You're an adult. You're legally responsible. If you murder somebody, you're going to be held accountable for it to the full capacity of the law. Now you can decide who are you granting access to? Are you making any children? All of these big decisions. So yeah, it makes sense as a civilization of why we would say, yeah, we're going to let people wait to this age because people are still developing and people can make bad decisions. And then you got a whole bunch of shit that undermines it, and it's hard. I forget who it was. There was a couple of girls that came back, and they were like victims of, like, at 14 or 15 was some big celebrity. I think Roman Polanski may have been one of them. Like the girl, the 13-year-old girl that he fucked, that he's been on the run for or whatever. Yeah. I think she came out and was basically like, yeah, you know, I was, you know, that's how I got down. I was one of them girls at that age. It's not like it wasn't, yeah, I was fucking dudes early on. It's like this is a famous dude at a mansion, didn't have no, the girl that R. Kelly peed on. I don't think all of R. Kelly's girls in his history were completely outraged or upset about it. There was this girl that fucked like all of the famous rock stars of the 70s. And there's pictures of her with like some of the people from Led Zeppelin. And she wrote a book, was like, yo, I was fucking these dudes at 13, 14. I was a groupie. I was hanging out with all the bands, fucking them all, and I was cool with it.
Wasn't it her
life.
and her mom?
The one I'm thinking of,
but I think it was two of them. It was her and her mother at the time.
I think her last name was like Maddox or something.
I don't know, but I definitely saw one of those things you're talking about. She was famous. It was a bunch of pictures of her all over the place, and she said that her mother was bringing her to a lot of these shows and shit. Like that's how she was able to go state to state and go to all these different rock because her mom was bringing her.
Wow.
And her mom, it was like a package deal. The mom was already aged out, but she's like, "Hey, if you want my fucking 14-year-old daughter, you got to bring me in for the party too," type shit.
And I get free tickets.
Fucking
yeah, and there's something fucked up. I mean, it's hard whenever you're talking about a person who doesn't have full autonomy, right? They can't make choices for themselves, so it's hard to argue that it's not exploitative. But then it's just hard to navigate like the issue about women empowerment, like because we're basically saying like women are too dumb to make decisions for themselves, and just as an underage dude that was fucking older girls, and I could have got them in trouble, right? I was happy to get ass, overjoyed, and I can't go back at the time like, was I exploited? Like, was I raped? Like, no,
bro.
No, I knew what I was doing, and I understood. I understood how everything worked, the mechanics of it. There wasn't no. I had to be talked into it, and then I can just as easily see myself being the patriarchy or whatever the fuck. Because if you tell me that same story and it's a girl, I feel completely different about it.
You were definitely exploited, but it's just
nah.
Like, whatever. You were exploited You were exploited to a sense. You were exploited to a sense because like these older women had to understand that you were not of age.
No.
Unless they were fooled and lied and manipulated by you, but no. I don't know. It's different for men. It's always different for men.
It's different for men because we have a mechanism that betrays our excitement.
We want to get raped and
we have a mechanism. a woman doesn't have that mechanism necessarily because you can force yourself on a woman whether she likes it or not. You can't really force yourself like in that way in a heterosexual thing. You can't force yourself on a man if he don't like it. There's got to be some type of excitement involved, or you're just pushing rope, like you say. You just pushing. Well, what are you gonna do? How do you make that? And then it seems like the older women would be disgusted by that anyway. Like the last thing they want to see is a limp prepubescent pipe. But if you into
it, of you for it.
If you into it though, it's clear. It's very clear. So they're like, yeah, he likes it. He's in the game. He likes it. He ain't got no problem with it. It's hard, but it's ridiculous.
But are we denying that a 15-year-old girl could make she's not in tune with any of that? Like, nah.
I don't think.
And again, all of us went to school. All of us went to school with young ass girls who got picked up by their 20-plus-year-old boyfriends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a common thing in our day.
It still is.
And I gotta say this too.
If it happened at your time and it happened at my time, and we're two different age groups,
yeah, that's
it's definitely rolling down.
I gotta say this because when I was in school, see, people give young boys a lot of credit, but when I was in school, young boys was doofuses. They was doofuses. They weren't able to set up no situation like that. It was the girls who, and I don't know how they came to this place. It's very likely that some of them could have been sexually abused, and they just, integrated it into their personality in a certain way. But the young girls was the ones who would call you in the stairwell and blow you. There's no way when I was in school that a teenage boy could finagle that situation. Like, oh, I'm gonna convince her to give me a BJ under the stairs. It was the girls who already knew how to do it. They already knew what the game was, and the boy was all giddy, like, oh my God, she put it in her mouth. Like, they were completely, like, they weren't the ones who were technically the aggressors. It was the girls who was already just game. They was just ready. They
I
was
know in
just
middle
ready.
school, there was a girl like in homeroom right next to me talking about how she wants to suck somebody's dick because she wants to know if humming on it makes it better.
Right,
And
exactly.
I'm over here next to her, like you can test me out.
Yeah, we was nervous, bro. We wasn't even like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get my BJ. We was like, really? Is she really? No, she can't. No way. She's gonna do that. We was nervous, bro. Like the young boys I grew up around was not ready like that. Not in my class. I'm sure if she went up to a senior, he would have been like, oh hell yeah, let's get it. But the young boys, they was confused, they was nervous, they was excited. But the girls was just about it. The ones who knew about it anyway, the ones who was just ready, and there was nothing you could do to stop them. Again, we go back to this. This is what they accuse witches of. An insatiable woman. That's a witch, bro. It's
But
like,
it's
how are
fair
you
to
able
say
to bang 7 guys in one day? That's got to be
it's
witchcraft.
it's fair to say though, like most likely that girl probably had something happen to her at a young age.
Very likely. Very likely. Very likely. And like I said, this is just a way that some people can process it and integrate it into their personality. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it definitely, I personally didn't see young boys setting these situations up. I saw them take advantage of it when it was presented, but
Oh
most
yeah.
times I saw that the girls were in the driver's seat. They were completely in control when they told 2 or 3 boys to follow them under the bleachers or something like that. They were completely in control. The boys were the ones who were blushing and giggling, not the girls. So
Because we're basically like, she's really doing this.
right. They're surprised. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Like, look, this is happening.
Yeah, yeah. And the girl's like, yep, I did another one. Yeah, so we can't. It's not always
And
as easy as it
a
seems.
lot of young women also think that's a form of adulthood too. That
Yeah.
sleeping around is like they're grown.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And it also gets them access to a upper tier of men. You know, maybe they just practice it on the boys their age, but really what this is going to do is going to get you that when summertime comes, you're going to be riding around in the motherfucking Acura Integra with the local drug dealer because
Yeah,
he knows
bro.
you game ready. He ain't got to convince you. He ain't got to force you to do nothing. She already, she know what the drill is. She already know what the drill is.
One thing I learned in my 36 years of life is if you're gonna be with a girl, don't talk about her or her past. You're not prepared for those kind of
Oh
conversations.
my God,
You're
bro.
you're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah, you're gonna destroy yourself. You're gonna destroy yourself psychologically. You're not ready to hear what she went through and what she did. You're not ready. I trust me, you're not ready. And if you don't care, if you're like one of them dudes, like, oh, I don't care that my girl gave 100 blowjobs before she was 20. It's like I think you may be trying to scrape some of them Peter tracks out of her mouth when you
Man,
kiss her. Maybe you got something else going on.
I've unknowingly gone that route, and boy, I was like, oh fuck, I can't fucking.
Nah, yeah, and I'll agree. I know a lot of women who are analyzing this and they're saying that it's like sexual insecurity. Like if she's seen 100 other penises, then she has a whole wide scope range to judge your penis, and that may be true. I give it that. Like nobody wants to be in that type of sexual. Not nobody. Some people love it, but not a lot of people want to be in that type of sexual competition. And I don't think it exists the same way for women just because of the way that we approach sex with women. They're receivers, so it's not like, oh, my old girlfriend used to ride me better. I don't know if you're gonna remember. You're just gonna be happy that you in some box. Are men like really judging box like that? Like, are you really like, oh no, my ex did it better? Or
Some men are like that, but I think they're full of shit, to be honest with you. Because I don't know. To me, it's all relative. But some dudes be like, oh, this was the best and that was the greatest. I'm like,
think
really?
about this. Think about this.
So why do you keep cheating on the other one?
Think about. Do you think if there was like some kind of Japanese game show going on, right? So you have sex with somebody, and then 3 days later, you go into a room on the Japanese game show. There's 5 women, and they're just spread eagle behind a fucking, a wall with a hole in it. Do you think?
Well, that's a real game show.
Do you think you could pick out the woman that you had? Like, you only get 3 strokes in each box. You think you could pick out the difference between a woman? Like, I don't think you know. I don't think you'd be able to tell if they took one woman and moved her into each slot and you got 3 strokes in the same box every time. I don't think you'd know the difference.
Yeah, I'm the same, bro.
Other than if one is like cavernous and another one's like got a nice grip on it. Other than that, if they're all they've all had similar sexual experience. None of them are blown out from a BBC gangbang or nothing like that. It's just all regular. I really, truly don't think you would be able to tell the difference between one vagina and the other. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
There's actually a Japanese game show like that. I'm not gonna. It's gonna
See,
be
I didn't
weird.
know that, but that's why I said Japanese game show, because I know they own that type of shit.
It's gonna get kind of weird, but it's actually family. I don't know if it's real because it's
Oh,
Japanese.
no,
but it's
no.
fucking
No,
it's fucking family members.
no, nope. Not doing it. We got to make a left on this conversation. We got to make a left. We're not going down this road. We're not going down this road.
You said it. I'm like, did he watch this?
I was just joking. I was just like, I know they do some wild shit. I was like, hey, Japanese game show. Because you know what I did see? The one that I did see that was wild. And then you can tell me what you know about this bugged out shit. But one I saw, it was blowjob karaoke. So you had to sing karaoke. And while you were singing karaoke, they had somebody underneath the podium that you couldn't see either. So it could be a dude or a woman. So they had a person under the podium that was blowing you, and the whole like purpose was to see if you could get through the karaoke without fucking up the song or blowing your load, but while you were singing. And these dudes, of course, their voices are trembling. They're all like, and they're fucking nervous and shit. But that was the whole game show, to see if you could make it through the song without being too influenced by the BJ happening under the podium. They own some wild shit over there. I'm saying that's better than The Price is Right.
That can't be real. They can't really be giving blowjobs. They got to have a man machine.
No, there's a
underneath or
camera.
something.
There's a camera under the podium.
Showing the blowjobs.
Yep,
Bro,
one
it's-
camera's on the
it's-
guy's face, and then there's a little picture-in-picture
Wow.
of
Just
the actual
Google
blowjob.
Japanese sex game shows, and it'll blow your mind.
Yeah, wild shit, bro. Wild shit. And to me, I guess it's a win-win unless you consider yourself a straight dude and it's a man. But I don't think you would go there, though. If you know there's a possibility that's a dude under the podium and you straight, I don't think you'd go there.
I wouldn't.
So, yeah, if you know that's an option.
Anything mysterious sexual game show, I'm not trying to be a part of, because I don't
Right.
need. It's gonna be a shootout at the end of it.
Yeah, somebody's going to die. Like, not that they should, but it's a possibility that somebody will die. That shit happened during that?
No. See, you guys don't understand. They film that game show in a prison. So if it happens in a prison,
okay.
it's not
Okay.
gay.
Right,
It's
it's not
fine.
gay. Yeah, gotcha.
You could go under the curtain and give him a kiss on the way out as
Right.
he leaves.
That makes
it's
perfect
prison.
sense. What was
It's
I
different
thinking?
rules.
What was I thinking? That shit happened on somebody died on a regular game show, like a TV show here in the 90s. I don't remember her name. Jenny. I think it was Jenny Jones. She had a TV show, and they brought somebody on. They said somebody had a crush on him, and then a dude
Oh
came out.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that was
he
enough.
ended up murdering him.
He murdered
Yep.
that motherfucker. Just not imagine. No sex happened. He just brought him on TV and told him he had a crush on him, and he killed that motherfucker.
Yeah, bro. You don't
That's
know.
fucked up.
Yeah,
You
that's some
get
terrible
crushed
shit. But they should have
anyway.
known better, bro. I mean, now you could get away with it, I think, because the sexuality is so fluent now, and it's not that
Right.
embarrassing. Like, but back in the '90s, you on TV and a dude telling you got a crush on you, yeah, you got to lay the murder game down.
But it's just like the guy I showed y'all the text. This dude, oh yeah, we could meet, but I have to give you a blowjob in the dark. I'm
Nah.
like, was the voice? But I'm saying, did the voice not give it away? At the
I
point,
don't know, bro.
Like,
Well,
did
there
he
was
just go
some dude-
inside of the dark room and it was instant
Nah, bro.
blowjob, or there was no like in between conversations.
Nah, bro.
I'm like,
Well,
bro,
wasn't there a college football player that just got acquitted for murdering?
That's him. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would understand, like, you got me at the internet where, like, he's manipulating you. But, I mean, like, up to the point where you get to the house and it's dark, there's no talking at any point. Like, there was no conversation.
Dude, I remember seeing this. It was like an episode of 2020. I saw it when I was a kid. I think my mother had it on and I was watching it because I just wouldn't have watched news shows that young. But one of the stories was the dude had like this Asian bride, like in Vietnam or something. The whole time it's a dude, or China, something. And they had a relationship, like, I think for decades. Even said, hey, this is your baby. He's like, oh, I've got a baby. Okay. And it was the butt the whole time. And they always said, like, hey, we got to make love,
It was
in the
butt
dark.
the whole time.
It
I've been
was the
slipping your
butt
butt.
the
You didn't
whole
even know.
Bro.
And so just
Oh,
watching
man.
this, it's like, listen, you can't. And as young as I was without having the experience, I was still like, but you had to have known. You had to have known.
There has to be.
And you just didn't want to, like, you were comfortable with it, and you weren't like, look, I'm gay, I'm cool with it. Like, there's no way. I think it was like 18 years or something. Like, the child grew up and everything, and it wasn't really his child. This person just went and, like, kidnapped the child or something. I don't know. But it wasn't his child.
Just borrowed a baby to blame it on. Yeah, I don't know. Like, even the one recently where the guy got acquitted, it seems strange because it didn't happen in the moment. Like, if it happened in the moment, it's not. Of course, I don't condone it, but it's understandable. It's like some serious trauma. Yeah. But the fact that it happened and then something
30 days later or something.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a month later.
My guy went back home, had the most amazing blowjob he ever had from a man. Went to tell his friends what happened. Yo, I met this girl named Angie. She said she was gonna suck my dick in the dark though. And then instantly the friends were like, nigga, you got your dick sucked by a man. So it took him 30 days to like have to kill
process it.
Yeah, they was clowning him the whole 30 days. They was clown. They had to be clown. And he was like, you know what? Fuck this. I gotta go kill you.
That's all it was.
And he still got acquitted.
But I didn't look too much in that decision. Does anybody know what the rationale was for acquitting him?
No, I'm gonna have to look into that.
The judge probably had sympathy for him.
Right, the judge, like, I had some dark blowjobs in my lifetime. I get it.
He probably met the judge and the same thing happened.
I don't know how you get away with murder. I mean, that's murder one.
Because that's murder. Because you left and came
premeditated. Back. Yeah. I don't know how that worked. Maybe this is some of that rape culture shit that people are talking about. We just live in a society where society hates homosexuals, and to the degree where the judge was like, yeah, that's disgusting, fuck that guy. I don't know. I'm gonna have to really look into it though. We're gonna have to bring this one back up next episode, and that's something that really needs to be dissected, because I was super surprised when I found out that it happened 30 days later. That changed everything. I was like, holy fuck, how did he get away with that? So yeah, we're gonna have to do some research and see if we can find the trial minutes or something like that and see what happened. But I'm positive he was getting clowned them whole 30 days.
Bro, he got clowned, bro. If I came to you and told you a story of my escapade with a prostitute, and I said, but she told me she had to suck my dick in the dark, instantly both of you guys would be like, wait a minute, doobie.
But is the trans community outraged about this? Because
that's interesting.
There was a lot of outrage on Dave Chappelle for telling jokes.
Right.
They even tried to kill him with a trans weapon, a knife gun. They tried to do harm, and that dude got fucked up. But people were outraged and basically unsympathetic to the fact that he got attacked. Right. They're like, you that dude. He says these kind of jokes. He warrants violence.
But
this is a dude that killed somebody. And it wasn't in the heat of the moment, and I'm not seeing this circulate with the same kind of energy and vitriol that they had against Dave Chappelle. It's the craziest shit. It's almost like they don't give a fuck about the actual substance or who's suffering. It's like they care more about silencing the opinions of influential people.
That community is full of shit. LGBTQEFG is full of shit.
Allegedly.
They are it's not alleged. They're all full of shit.
Not the people. Not the people. I think most gay people don't even give a fuck about a lot of that shit. They're just trying to live their lives.
Whoever's in charge of the Twitter community
as a political tool, but politics is always fucked up and full of shit. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Their job is to pretend they give a fuck about you while they run off with all of your money. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't want to solve any of your problems. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. You're useful because it's a wedge issue culturally. That's the only reason they give it. They have no sincere fucks to give for people that are really struggling with any of that shit. If anything, they're like, yo, I want as many of you to get your dicks cut off or get your titties removed, because we're running out of diseases to cure. Like, we're prescribing as many pills as we can. We're fixing as many health issues as possible. We're raking in a whole bunch of fucking money, but we could always do with some more surgeries. Like, we're making up useless surgeries just to get more medical dollars in. Like,
I only say they're full of shit because of, if you go back to his special, he made friends with one of them, cool with one of them, and
doesn't matter.
Because that person was cool with Dave and she announced it, they started banging on her and they ended up killing themselves. Yep. That's why I'm like, y'all so full of crap.
This is tribal bullying. This is about, there is a narrative that must be maintained at all costs. It's the key to a lot of people's money. It's the key to a lot of people's power, and you can't undermine it at all. and they're using this as an issue to make sure everybody's on board with all the other shit. Yes, bitch, we're going to war with Ukraine. Yes, we're going to print more money. Yes, we're going to let as many people in here as like all of that shit is wrapped up into whatever nefarious Davos agenda is going on at the moment. And if Dave Chappelle, as a super duper influential person, has an opinion that differs from that elite narrative, of course they're going to try to take him down by any means. Same thing with Elon. Everybody, if you've got money and reach and people give a fuck about what you think, you are absolutely going to be bullied into this shit. So it's not about the LBGT shit. It's about what the LBGT issue can be utilized to shame people and get conformity out of them about a whole bunch of other shit. Because the same people that are all on that LBGT shit are like, yeah, of course we gotta go to war with Ukraine. I thought wars were bad. No, you don't understand. Ukraine, B. Yeah. Ukraine. Well, isn't like 3% of their fighting men like actual Nazis, like with symbols of the black sun and Nazi flags? Yeah, but they're Nazis that are fighting Putin. So
they're on our team.
They're good Nazis.
Y'all know about Operation Paperclip. Let's not get it fucked up. You know what we do.
Listen, and y'all remember, and you remember the Wizard of Oz. There was a good witch and a bad witch.
Both witches.
You know, both witches. We just gonna throw the bad Nazis out with the good Nazis?
You gotta add the bad and the good in there. But
hey, listen, y'all.
It makes a difference.
Hey, look, this is duality. We got it's nuance, right?
Like
it's
bad
nuance.
pussy and good pussy.
It's nuance, bro. That's some wild shit, man. That's some. Hey, look, this is what it is. This is what we're dealing with. This is humanity. The only thing we can do is protect our own peace and cultivate our own environments. That's all we can do. Because if you get too connected to this shit, the only thing it's gonna do is drive you crazy. That's the only option you have, is to go nuts about this shit. And I'm not willing to lose my sanity over it. So I choose to hang out in my garden and smoke spliffs and talk to people I respect and have conversations with. I'm not dealing with the rest of that shit until I got a bunch of money to throw at it. Until then, I'm going to mind my business, kick my feet up, and enjoy my experience. Call it what you want, but that's what I'm doing. Fuck it. That's the bottom line. This is the way.
I'm going to go have sex with my wife in the dark under a sheet.
Be careful. Be careful.
I hope everything's going to be fine.
Be careful. If you hear a box opening or some tools start running, just get out of there. Get out of there quick.
Keep an eye for the deep voice. If there's a deep voice in there, pull out.
Pull. It's too late.
Unless you like it.
It's too
Unless
late.
you like it, and you're already in.
He said pull out. It's too late. Might as well finish. Ain't nobody gonna be mad at you, bro. But I'm about to head out, man. I'm about to go see DJ Z-Trip tonight at ODS. I think it's like their 11-year anniversary. So that's what I'm gonna be doing tonight, hanging out in Ybor. DJ Z-Trip's one of my favorites. That dude always not only do
they still get drunk out there and the police drop kick them on the concrete floor.
With the horses. Now they run your ass over on the horse. That's what they do. They just be coming down the street on the horse like, get out of the way, and trample your ass.
Last time I was there, dude, it was like, get out my way. The cop picked his ass up and dropped him in the head. I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Don't give a fuck out there, bro.
This is not for me.
But the thing I like about Z-Trip, not only does he put on a dope show, he has like layered mixes. Like if you know the breaks he's playing, it kind of makes sense with the song. Like he's a super deep DJ, dope set all the time, and he starts early, which is something that I really respect about his whole move. Because usually when I go to ODS and they have a guest DJ, the local DJs who are cool, but they play till like 1 a.m. and I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. I need to be home by now. Z-Trip will get there and he'll start spinning at 10:30. And this is LL Cool J's tour DJ. So it ain't like no, Mr. Nobody. For him to go on that early shows that he respects the fans and the venue and everything. I dig that, you know what I mean? So I always go see Z-Trip if he's in town. The first time I met him, we opened up for him at Masquerade, and we were hanging out watching him set up his tables and everything. And he called me on the mic to help him get the levels right and shit. He had me rapping on the mic while it's just super cool cat. Like he didn't have to do that at all, but he was always been really approachable and real dope. So whenever I get a chance to see Z-Trip, I'll go see him. And it's the 11-year anniversary, so it should be a dope night tonight. I'm sure I'm gonna see a lot of people I know. And y'all brothers, enjoy the rest of the evening. Absolutely appreciate y'all making time, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. Y'all take
All
it
right.
easy. I'm about to play our theme music on the way out just so everybody can hear it, hear our branding. You know what it is? It's metaphysics, so we fucked always, bro. That's what it is. If it's not the religion of tomorrow, we're screwed. Totally and absolutely.
Metaphysics
That's the
is
vibe.
These
going
are
to
facts.
have to be
All
the
right, man.
quote
I'll talk to
unquote
y'all soon,
religion
though,
of
man.
tomorrow. If
All
it
right,
All
isn't,
right.
ladies and gentlemen.
Take it
Peace.
easy.
you're fucked. Totally and absolutely. Metaphysics, if it isn't, you're fucked. Absolutely. Totally and absolutely. Metaphysics, if it isn't, you're fucked. Totally, absolutely. Religion of tomorrow. Religion of tomorrow. Religion of tomorrow.